What's up, guys? How are we doing tonight? Welcome to Rex X Gray Area 11. I'm excited for tonight's show. I hadn't really looked at the news. I've been working all day on the supplement side. There's a lot going on, and I was shocked to have heard that Tucker was detained in Israel. Apparently, like Mike Huckabee snaked him and set him up in some sort of meeting, and then they wanted to question him about that. But to avoid an international incident, they sent him home. But they took his passport. I don't know. More's developing on that, and we're going to stay appraised on that situation. We're going to follow it, but I don't necessarily have a lot on that right now. I got some slides to show. I want a few more people to get in here. So how are you all doing tonight? Welcome to the show. I'm excited about it. There is a lot to go over. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. So is the chat working tonight? I don't know, man. That sucked because we had 1,000 people in here yesterday, and the chat was not working. So I think that deterred people from staying on the stream and people from interacting just in general. And you know me and Tim too, to be fair, like we like to interact with the chat, especially on here. But I'm using StreamYard. I probably should use the other software. It is better. Just updated my app and it seems good now. I'm glad to hear that, New Groper. I'm glad to hear that. You see this story? You following this at all? This is pretty crazy. Just in, Tucker Carlson detained in Israel and dragged into interrogation room, Daily Mail reports. Let me see if I can find the actual Daily Mail article. I've got a whole bunch of stuff for tonight, but I want to wait till about 100 people get in here before I get really started. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I found it right away. Awesome. You know, people crap on the Daily Mail. At least you can read it, right? At least you can read it. But you do have to get rid of the ads first. Pretty crazy amount of ads. Block. Daily Mail exclusive. Tucker Carlson detained in Israel. Journalist dragged into interrogation room as explosive interview sparks diplomatic firestorm. Okay. Conservative podcasting titan Tucker Carlson said he and his staff were detained in Israel on Wednesday following an interview with Donald Trump's ambassador to the country, Zio's slave Mike Huckabee. The former Fox News host flew into Tel Aviv for a sit-down with Mike Huckabee, who challenged Carlson to speak to him directly following an online spat about the country's treatment of Christians. Okay. Carlson, who also frequently criticizes Israel for its military actions in Gaza, took Huckabee up on his offer. But as critics and pro-Israel activists began piling on Carlson for not leaving the airport during his brief visit, he revealed that he was met with hostility in the Middle Eastern country. Carlson exclusively told Daily Mail that shortly after the interview, Israeli officials confiscated his passport and hauled one of his colleagues off to an interrogation room. Men who identified themselves as airport security took our passports, hauled our executive producer into a side room, and then demanded to know what we spoke to Ambassador Huckabee about. Oh, and see, these are our friends, right? That's not like Stasi, secret police, German police, anything like that at all. No. No, see, they're allowed to treat us like that because they own us. It's very cool. Okay. Carlson told the Daily Mail, "It was bizarre. We're now out of the country." Prior to the interview, Carlson posted a photo of himself and his business partner, Neil Patel, in front of Ben Gurion Airport on Wednesday with the caption, "Greetings from Israel." Okay. Got Bibi and Trump. Zio's slave, Mike Huckabee. Okay, that's, too bad Tucker stayed in the airport in the face of so many invitations to see so many wonderful places. A huge and obviously intentional missed opportunity, taunted David Friedman, the former U.S. ambassador to Israel during Trump's first term. Two sources familiar with the matter, however, told Daily Mail that the Israeli government initially did not want to allow Carlson into the country. And the thing is, like, this is not like Adolf Hitler, Groyper, 1488. This is Tucker, all right? Ultimately, he's not a national security threat. He's not a terrorist. He doesn't want to, unalive an ethnic group of people. I'm not going to say the phrase because that'll really get the stream down regulated. But you know what I mean, right? He's not that guy. But they're like, he's Hitler basically, and we can't let him into the country. It would cause a big problem. And it's just like, come on, dude. You're supposed to be our best friend in the whole world, right? And a journalist can't travel there. He's so scared he wants to stay in the airport. In the end, the Israeli government decided not to bar Carlson from entering the country in order to avoid a diplomatic incident, according to a Channel 13 report. A spokesman for the U.S. Embassy in Israel denied that Carlson was detained and claimed he received the same passport control questions that countless visitors to Israel, including Ambassador Huckabee and the other diplomats, receive as part of a normal. It's normal. It's part of the normal entrance and exit from Israel. We ask you questions about everyone you met with, and you're not allowed to leave until you answer them all. It is not accurate that Israel only was going to let Tucker into the country for the interview. The representative added, the only engagement the embassy had with Israel about his visit was to coordinate his private plane landing as part of facilitating a seamless visit. It was Tucker who chose to only come into the country for a few hours and depart, and Tucker received the same positive treatment of any visitors to Israel. It's like there's no war in Bossing Say, from Avatar. Yeah, nothing's happening here. There's nothing to see here. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Ain't that interesting? Ain't that something? The Daily Mail has contacted the White House and Bibi Netanyahu for comment. Carlson accused Huckabee last week on his YouTube show of not ensuring proper protections for citizens in Israel. Huckabee, who has known Carlson for more than 3 decades and previously worked with him at Fox News, responded by inviting him to Israel for a discussion. Instead of talking about me, why don't you come talk? Instead of talking about me, why don't you come talk to me? I'm Huckabee. I'm an evangelical. I believe that we got to have the third temple. Hell yeah, baby. Huckabee wrote on X. Carlson replied by welcoming the invitation before noting that they were working on setting up the interview. Okay. Israel's popularity all time. Dream here. I don't know what that was. Just more coverage on that. We're at 63. It's not 100, but it's close. I'll move on from this. I just wanted to cover this because this is the thing about the modern news cycle, right? Stuff will happen that's so insane. Like, I'm playing Fortnite and then Kirk gets shot, right? Like, I'm coming out of a church and Trump gets shot, right? And then something like this. And I'm not saying this is comparable, but it's just like these wacky, zany things are going to start happening all over the place. And there's just like, this is a minor story compared to most things that are happening. And I'm going to get into the major things that are happening. We've got a lot more posturing from the Israelis, right? So, BRICS News, just in, former Israeli PM Naftali Bennett, and this is tied into something big. Trust me, just give me some time here. Naftali Bennett says Tucker Carlson is a chicken shit who has been spouting lies about Israel. Okay, so we got, I'm going to eat all of your whitefish. I'm going to eat it all. We've got that guy. Tucker Carlson is a chicken shit. The guy who's been spouting lies about Israel for the past 2 years landed today at Ben Gurion Airport, took a quick picture in the logistics zone, tweeted it to pretend he's actually in Israel, so he can later claim that he's a serious. Okay, I can't do it. That he's a serious reporter who toured Israel, didn't even step foot in the country, then made up a story that he's being supposedly harassed by our security. It never happened. It didn't happen. I'm saying it now. It never happened. I swear. Whined about it, got back onto the private jet and flew off. Next time he talks about Israel, if he's some expert, just remember the guy is a phony. Okay. All right. Now, you may ask, why is that relevant? Who cares? It's just one guy in the government. He's just ragging on Tucker. It is what it is. This goes to show the spirit and arrogance of their total entitlement. Right? Because like this guy comes out, he bashes Tucker, calls him a chicken shit. Basically, government officials aren't supposed to act like this, right? But because of Trump, it's been normalized to crash out. Like fuck you. Like who are you to say this? Why are you invalidating what happened to him? He's an American citizen, and if he says that happened, I believe him. Right? Well, what gives you the right to disrespect us? But that's all irrelevant. And compared to the scope of the things this guy actually wants to do. This is the guy spoiling for a new war with Turkey. Okay. So I've got this clip here. Turkey is the new Iran. Naftali Bennett. We'll watch it now.
Turkey is the new Iran. Erdogan is sophisticated, dangerous, and he seeks to encircle Israel. We can't close our eyes again.
You insane idiots. I just love that there's just like no applause. Like he stops as if there's going to be applause. He's like, Turkey is the new Iran. You can just imagine him by like, what? Okay, so Turkey's going to be the next Iran. And then once they take out Turkey, what do you think is going to be the next Iran after that? Germany? What do you think?
Well, the thing is, Turkey is both a NATO and a BRICS nation, right? And Erdogan is involved in like the slimiest, messiest geopolitics on the entire globe. Are they? Hold on. I should know this. Turkey nuclear. Okay, it's a non-nuclear weapon state. Uh-oh. I mean, you're really cooked if you don't have nuclear weapons in the Middle East or just, over in West Asia or Central Asia. You're completely screwed. But Erdogan has deals with everyone. He's very close with the Russians. He also has relationships with the Israelis and stuff. So we have to keep in mind this is just one faction of the Israeli government, right? The Likudniks, and they're in charge, and that is who the citizenry has decided to side with, and all the polling is clear on that because the genocidal policies are like basically 62 to 65% backed by the people. If we look at the Penn State poll, right? But like this is one faction in Israel that wants war with Turkey. And I'm not saying this will happen for sure. We've got more than enough on our plate with the Iran war, and I'm going to cover that in about 5 to 10 minutes, right? But we do not need to be fantasizing about, new wars, new conflicts. What was it that Lindsey Graham said, right? And he said this recently, like last week. He said, the wars of the future are being planned right here in Israel. Okay, so I thought it was no new wars. I thought that it was peace through strength and defense and making our nation strong. Is it actually not about that? Because, like, by and large, the pro-war position is rejected, both on the left and both on the right. Yet we keep getting it from these people, right? And then they tell us basically that they have a mandate from heaven to declare war. And it's always that, someone's being tortured somewhere. Someone's living under a theocracy. The woman has to wear the hijab, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they will sign on to genocide 6 figures worth of people, 6 figures plus worth of people. Actually, the number, the statistic is 80,000, and 80% of that are Hamas members. I'm sorry. Okay. Like we live in a different universe. We live in a different world. I just look at the numbers when they shut down the aid sites, over 400 of the UN aid sites, and they made the fake GHF. There are 4 aid sites, and in a 4-month period, 12,800 people had been severely injured and thousands had been killed. So your numbers are fake. And I don't care what you say, but you ultimately you can't argue with these people, right? And these people will argue with you. They will say that they're morally superior and that you're lying about them and that you're like anti whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to use keywords here, but they will advocate or they will vote for people in the government and their government that advocate for not just the current wars that are being talked about and want to be re-engaged, the 12-day war 2.0 with Iran, but future conflicts that they fantasize about, right? It'll never be enough. It'll never be enough. So the baseline position from the American public, flat out, just from the jump, from the beginning, it's got to be, we reject this wholesale. We reject it entirely. We're not doing this anymore. We refuse to do this. I mean, it's so insane. I just want to go to 7-Eleven and I want to buy Monster Energy, okay? It's not that difficult to understand. Why does my government, when I voted for that, when I voted for peace through strength and I voted for an end to the wars, and Trump's whole position has always been dogging people for the war in Iraq, and I just retweeted a thing today where he's talking about Obama trying to start a war with Iran to stay elected, right? Why was I lied to? Why were we all lied to? And then it's expected now that that's okay and that that's what we have to live with and that's what we have to tolerate. I reject it completely. But I'll get back to the clip. I just like, We got a good show tonight. It always takes me a little bit to get warmed up. Like, I need an additional 10 minutes at the beginning to really get fluid. But we got a really good show tonight. I got a bunch of different kooky, crazy segments, wacky, goofy, zany. We're going to go down the rabbit hole, and I'm thinking of more stuff right now to look up as I go live. So very fun. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. Do not forget, current topic at hand. These people are spoiling for a war with Turkey, not just a war with Iran.
It's going to be the next Gaza, the next Palestine, all of Europe, if I had to guess. America itself.
Yeah, Matt, that's what I thought. That's why I looked that up too. So yeah, the U.S. has nukes in Turkey. I mean, it's so insane, man. Like, this is the strongest ally is talking about things like they're in deep with us. They're very similar. I don't want to compare the relationship, obviously. I say I'm a geopolitical news enthusiast and not an expert for this reason, but it reminds me a lot of the Pakistani situation, right? We use them a lot for military logistics, intelligence planning. So yeah, excellent point. Yeah, the United States, we have nukes in Turkey.
Suddenly, they'll send America to war with Iran. Iran will use their hypersonic missiles to, blow apart the aircraft carriers. Tens of thousands of Americans will die. That will naturally have the consequence of making Americans hate Israel more. And so then they'll be able to basically say, look, America, it's hopeless. They're so anti-Semitic. There's nothing we can do about this. I guess they're the new Palestinians. Now they're trying to kill us, and they won't rest until we're all dead. We have to.
And like, how many times are we going to do this narrative, man? And it's just throughout my life, I've seen the power of narrative. And like, this is how all great things happen. Like, humans are this storytelling ape, right? That's very Joe Rogan. Hey, man, humans are the storytelling ape, brother. But seriously, like, people buy into things based off of emotional response to some sort of saga or archetype, right? And the perpetual victim narrative of we have to protect ourselves, we have to kill these people so they never harm us, or the example that Ezra Levant, the founder of Rebel News, gave on my dad's show of someone breaks into your house and they kill your kid and they run over to their house and they're using their kid as a human shield. You have to shoot through to unalive the dude, and you have to do it. And the answer to that is no. You don't kill another innocent person just to get whoever, right? But that's what they did, and that's what they do, and that's what they want to do more of. And like, we forget that other people live in these countries. Iran is a country of 92 million people. It's like the size of like Central Europe. It's like 3 Texas. It's like 2.5 Texas, whatever it is. It's insanely big, right? And this is fighting a nation that is like the size of New Jersey. That's this strip of land that like a thing is metastasizing and growing and trying to become the greater project, which is where they take parts of Saudi Arabia and parts of Egypt and incorporate them in parts of course, Syria, the Golan Heights, among other areas. I mean, it's all just colonial land expansion, right? And you can say, well, America is guilty of that. And you can say, yeah, but the year was like 1700, 1800. The year wasn't, 2026. And there comes a time where we have to stop this kind of behavior. And I feel like we're being guilt tripped into it. And 2 wrongs don't make a right, man. Like this has got to end somehow, some way. We've all got to come together as humans and say, we don't do this to each other anymore. People go, that's liberal. The strong have always conquered the weak. What is it that Thucydides said? The strong will do what they can, and the weak will suffer what they must. Does it have to be that way? Because, Christ said the meek will inherit the earth, right? And being weak, not in the sense of, being weak spiritually or being a weak person, but, not having $100 billion and not being someone that poisons the air and poisons the tap water or starts all these wars, right? Or just like one of these giant corporations. I mean, it's got to be beyond Democrat and Republican. We've got to come together on this. We've got to solve it. We've got to figure it out.
To defeat them first. Please, China, won't you help us? Won't you defend us from the evil Americans? See, I have the feeling that this whole war in Iran thing is designed to kick off World War III with the express intention of destroying America once and for all and moving more towards the east with Israel as the capital of a one world government. Have I mentioned this before?
Well. The great Harrison Smith, man. I love Harrison. I love going on his show. I'll be on his show next Monday. Always really phenomenal analysis. And if you haven't seen it already, me and Tim, we did Full Gray Area with Lebanon John. We did like an hour and 15-minute interview with him. You will learn a lot if you go back through our catalog and you go watch that video. Okay. And like I learned a lot. And we like to say, here's what we like to say. I saw this I saw this AI generated meme, and I wish I had saved it, but it was someone, making like pro-Israel propaganda, right? And it was the supreme leader as like a giant pig orc creature spewing out various bodily fluids onto like little swine piglets, right? And these little swine piglets represented the different, terrorist factions in the Middle East. One had, Hamas written on it, one had Hezbollah written on it, one had Al Qaeda written on it, one had ISIS written on it, and they were all eating from, the same stuff, right? And that's how the American public, the ignorant American public, by large, understands the situation when it comes to the terrorist, right? Because you got a brown guy wearing like vegetable clothes out in the desert, right? And wearing sandals in a cave somewhere. And then you point at that person and you go, caveman, that's a terrorist scum. They flew plane in 9/11. They knocked down tower. We got to kill them now all the same. When in reality, the person that you see wearing the vegetable clothes in the cave or whatever is actually not a person wearing vegetable clothes in a cave. It's actually a person with a very complex culture and social history and a form of Islam that they practice. Right. And Iran is a Shia nation. Right. So they fund Shia groups, and they also fund Sunni groups. Hamas, Sunni group. Hezbollah is both a Shia Christian and other Islam faction. They just want to defend Lebanon. Right. So that's a very fascinating, interesting topic to get into. But Al Qaeda, ISIS, not to belabor the point, I kind of lost myself there a little bit. Time to speed up. Al Qaeda and ISIS, what you have to remember is we set those up. Those are our babies. That's a CIA baby. That's an Israeli baby. In the same way Hamas is an Israeli baby, right? Because they funded Hamas. Bibi Netanyahu set it up, basically. So when you look at the factions that Iran is funding, like Hezbollah or Hamas now, they're giving them money and resources because they're in proxy war, shadow war, actual war with Israel. Right. In the same way Israel is at war with them, in the same way Israel set up those protests and set up the Starlink and set up the Mossad inside the country, Iran is trying to do the same thing. It's only them that want to say it's unfair. All right, when they're funding Al Qaeda, when they're funding ISIS. So this is a global war. This is a war that's localized in the region. There's dark money, there's dark weapons, there's all of it together. There is no one innocent party. And they're like, we are the lions of justice. We are the most moral army in the world, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, will you shut the fuck up? Like, at least some of them would be like, yeah, like we're killers. Like we do this. Like, yeah, I sniped that baby in the head. Hell yeah. You're like, okay. Well, like, at least that's like, like the Disney movie, like Dragon Monster or whatever, or like Marvel movie Dragon Monster. Okay, like that. We know what that is. It's open about what it is. It is what it is, right? And we can do something about it in war crimes, Nuremberg 2.0, whatever you want to say. But at the end of the day, you know what you're dealing with versus one that wants to go, I'm a liberal. Oh, I'm a liberal. And they're like, it's about protecting the people. Don't you understand? Don't you want to protect your own people? And it's like, well, yeah, but the example that you give, like Ezra Levant give, is you want us to shoot through another person's innocent child to kill him. And we're not doing that anymore. We refuse to do it. But not to belabor the point, let's get back to commentary and discussion on actual events and not just me pontificating tonight. Going to war with Iran again because our president is in the Epstein list is wild. And it's just like, look at that. Like that. I'm not a fan of this. And people, they watch the Top Gun. Ooh, Top Gun, hell yeah, flew that bomb into that mountain. Hell yeah, brother. And that was all pre-programming for the 12-day war, of course. And that's come out. That's pretty obvious. Everyone wants to act like this like goes hard or like it's cool in some way or it's badass. It would be cool if we didn't have to use it. Ultimately, having to use it is the greatest sign of weakness. We have to project all of this power. I mean, look at all this power. I got a better graphic right here. I got video of it too. Look at all this power. We have to project all this power because we've lost control of the global financial system. In the old days, if we went to go ransack a nation like Iraq, it was truly a Minecraft sandbox. We're going to have fun. We can do whatever we want type of situation. This is very, very desperate. And, you know, people talk about Trump's possible implication in the file and that being a reason and him being blackmailed as to why we're getting into this war and whatever and whatnot. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. I ultimately don't know. I'm just a bum in my dining room. Excuse me. But only a nation that's very desperate would be willing to do something like this, because this is a message to the world. Whenever this kicks off, and it's going to kick off, there is no, ain't no brakes on this train. This train's going straight off the tracks. Whenever this kicks off, this is going to be to show all of the other nations, don't screw with us. And if we lose a carrier, if a carrier goes down, if dozens or hundreds or thousands of American sailors die, if an F-35 gets taken out of the sky by a Russian S-400 and crashes down, or F-16 or F-22, if that happens and they got like an American hostage, or we got Americans in the sea. I mean, I was watching an interview with Colonel Lawrence Wilkerson and Larry Johnson, the intelligence roundtable on Dialogue Works. You got to watch it. And Lawrence Wilkerson, he worked for Colin Powell, like high level, knows everything about military you could think of, right? He's like, we don't even have the lifeboats on these carriers, right? We don't have room for them. So we've got outdated destroyers, which there's no reason to have. We're not going to blow up a coastline. We've got destroyers we're trying to use as like missile platforms. We've got the missile defense ships. We've got the aircraft carriers, of course. Let's read it out. USS Abraham Lincoln, USS Frank E. Peterson, USS, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. How do I do it again? It's Control Plus, I think. Yeah. I hate this because you can't do it on Twitter. That actually sucks a little bit. USS Michael Marjorie, Gerald R. Ford, aircraft carrier, and then 3 other ships accompanying that. We've got a submarine. We've got what looks to be multiple destroyers. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And the 2 aircraft carriers. We've got the giant planes. I don't know about this stuff. I'm not a military guy, but we've got the Warthogs. We've got the F-15, F-35, 12 F-22 Raptors. We've got everything we could possibly put in the region. I think it's 1/3 of the active Navy that is out there right now. And yes, I know we have like 12 aircraft carriers, whatever. It's not a big deal if we lose them. We have 12. Like, this is the American mindset, right? And I've talked to people about this war, and I'm like, you realize what happens if one of those ships goes down the water, right? And they're like, oh, we have more of the ships. We got more units. We've got more people. We could send it to the fire. It don't matter. And you're like, damn. Like, this is how it happens. It's just like that guy that picked me up for Uber last year. And he's like, so you're going to go fight for Israel, right? Like, literally go die for Israel. And he said that to me. He was picking me up. Like, we had a little political discussion. I said I voted for Trump, and then it ended up there. But wow. And people want to belittle this and say it's not a big deal, right? And this is the example I want to give. So let's say I haven't convinced you. Let's say you're still 100% on the page of like, we're going to be able to be safe and wreck shit and do traditionally what we've always done, which is terrorize weaker nations than us, right? Do you know about what happened with the Houthis? What happened with the Houthis exactly? Because you see, we were in the Red Sea. We were doing kind of a micro version, not even a micro version. It was a big deal. I believe we had a carrier out there. Yes, we did. So I'm going to talk about it. We're threatening. We're doing whatever we're going to do. They shot ballistic missiles at us, at the ships, and the ships had to take emergency evasive action. And you go, oh, they just had to get out of the way. The ship is fast. You stupid. You slow. I love President Trump. President Trump, genius. Pete Hegseth is my God. Well, we had an F-16 that wasn't bolted down or properly taken care of. And that like $60 million or however much it is ended up at the bottom of the Red Sea. I believe it was multiple of them, actually. So if it's not serious and we're not worried about the integrity of our ships and our ability to be out there, why we dodge missile? Why we care about missiles so much? Like, do you see my point? Do you see what I'm saying here? But wow, I want to watch this because I think it was an excellent breakdown by Scott Ritter. Of course, Scott Ritter, former UN weapons inspector, really high up, former military and United States government official. And Dialogue Works, hosted by Nima, of course, phenomenal channel. You got to go subscribe. This is where I get a lot of my news from.
Omanis were mediating these negotiations. In the aftermath of the negotiations, we've heard the American part, the Iranian part. The outcome was somehow positive. And here is what J.D. Vance said about the second round of negotiations.
Negotiation, I will say this morning is, in some ways it went well. They agreed to meet afterwards, but in other ways it was very clear that the president has set some red lines that the Iranians are not yet willing to actually acknowledge and work through.
Okay. And I promise I'm not going to pause too much once we get to Ritter's analysis, which I think is spot on and really good about the situation. He'll cite things and he'll give you what's your source for that? He'll get into all of that. But keep in mind, this whole thing is like, Iran cannot have nuclear weapon. We cannot allow them to have it. Guak, take away Iran nuclear weapon. Guak, make Iran not have enriched uranium. Like it's like a retarded iPad kid talking into Grok, trying to get things done. That's what this administration is like. But the whole thing is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran can not have a nuclear weapon, blah, blah, blah. Now Israel is trying to move the goalpost even more because Iran is like, hey, this has been going on for a year. The IAEA nuclear inspectors were the ones that ratted on us initially and the ones that started the 12-day war. Really, that's why Israel had the first strike and why they had on-the-ground intel on what to hit. So it's a whole thing, and I have context for it, and I can give it. So sorry to give a brief synopsis to those that are really geopolitically informed, right? But with Iran, they're like, Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. Iran can't have any enriched uranium above like 3% or 5% or whatever. Iran wants 20. Ultimately, that's negotiable. Now, the Likudniks, the Israelis, they're trying to move the goalposts to they can't have missiles that reach us. And that's a non-negotiable for Iran because Iran's ballistic missile program is the only thing keeping Iran alive right now. And it's very potent in keeping Iran alive. They have very good engineers. They have very good adepts. They have very good tech priests that are able to get all these things done. But at the same time as they have all that good stuff, if it was to go away or if they were to relinquish any of it in any regard, we would be able to take that place over. Because, like, here's the thing. And I'll go to myself for a second. Here's the thing. I criticize the U.S. military a lot. I say it's a lot like our healthcare system. We pay the most to get a very mediocre product, and it's just because we spend so much money that we have the best one on paper. We like to claim that. I do not discount the power of $1 trillion+ defense budget. I don't discount it at all. I think that we have stuff beyond our comprehension. I still think we have a lot more bombs than we let on, even if we're using a lot of them, right? Even if we've made, real drastic supply chain decisions that are going to hurt us with missile defense, we have a lot of stuff. And if Iran was to relinquish any part of their ballistic missile program, we would take over that country like nobody's business. And we wouldn't do it with a ground invasion. We wouldn't need to. We would make it unlivable for them. They already have a bad economy and a bad drought. We could do it. It's only those missiles that keep that nation safe. And that's on the table now. But I'll go back to the clip. I just wanted to make that point.
So we're going to keep on working it. But of course, the president reserves the ability to say when he thinks that diplomacy has reached its natural end. We hope we don't get to that point. But if we do, that'll be the president's call.
Yeah. And what is, Scott? Because you look at the situation in terms of the military.
Really quick, if you're enjoying this, please repost it. Please like, please share. Please do.
And their movements in Iran and outside Iran, considering the United States, it's all somehow show us that something big is going to happen. What is your assessment of the current situation?
If you remember when Donald Trump promised Iranian demonstrators back in January, help is on the way. And there was a lot of talk that the United States was going to launch military strikes targeting Iranian security infrastructure, suppressing security infrastructure, ostensibly prevent the Iranians from murdering people in the streets. But we know what it was for, is to suppress the ability of the government to respond to these this uprising. The president was told at the time that we have insufficient military force in the region to accomplish that goal, and as important, to protect ourselves from an Iranian, retaliation, Iranian missile strikes. And so a new reality set in that we had to hit the pause button. Now, if you understand what I just said, that the United States was vulnerable, its bases were vulnerable to Iranian military action. That vulnerability still exists as we speak. Now, the United States is deploying a tremendous amount of military power into the region, into bases that are vulnerable to Iranian attack. Under Article 51, the Caroline Doctrine of preemptive self-defense, Iran has every right to destroy these American aircraft as they arrive, because it is an imminent threat. So now we go to Geneva. We enter into negotiations. What's positive? Iran's going to give us 2 weeks while they consider the options. They're going to come back. We've agreed to a framework of discussion. This is just 2 weeks for the United States to get all the means. The first thing we did was deploy the missiles, the missile defense, THAAD, Patriot, and now we're deploying the strike capacity. And when we get to green on both missile defense, and strike capacity, the president will pull the trigger, because we have no interest in a diplomatic outcome with Iran. Why the Iranian government hasn't figured this out yet, I don't understand. Our goal, our objective has always been regime change. And so I just think Iran has been suckered into a round of diplomacy, and it's being distracted by this, that they are.
And this is literally what happened last time, right? And people don't remember this. And it's like I talked about with the IAEA and the nuclear inspectors and how they set them all up. In the initial negotiations, which is, we're watching history repeat itself very soon after it initially happened, with J.D. Vance talking about, assurances and guarantees that are needed with the enriched uranium. Keep in mind, the first operation was to destroy the enriched uranium, and they failed to do that on the record. Now, they said that they did it. They said, number one, that they damaged the nuclear sites beyond repair, which is not true. And they said, number two, they destroyed the enriched uranium, which is also not true. So what's happening now? What's happening now? We'll follow more of this.
Down, trying to work through a framework around which they can advance the negotiations. Meanwhile, the United States is deploying military capacity to do what? We now know that if we're going to fight Iran, the requirement is that we have to suppress Iran's ballistic missile launch capacity early on. That in order to do that, you need just the kind of aircraft mix that we've got coming in: F-35s, F-15s, F-16s, F-22s. And we're going to launch, the guerrilla package of all guerrilla package. The guerrilla package was the strike that went into Western Iraq at the beginning of Desert Storm to take out, the Iraqi fixed arm launchers that everybody believed was going to be used to strike Israel. We're going to go in and we're going to be hammering all known Iranian ballistic missile operate. We're going to blanket the skies of Iran 24/7 for a week, nonstop, day and night air campaign. If a missile leaves, its hiding place, we're going to hit it. That's the plan. And while we're doing that, we're going to.
And this is something I've heard him talk a lot about, and this is modern Western, really just military doctrine of the overwhelming air superiority, right? So we had all this money, and we thought we had the best technology in XYZ, and we're so much better than everybody else. We put it all into these planes and all into these aircraft carriers and these planes with these stealth capabilities and blah, 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 blah. Ultimately, all that, like I acknowledged earlier, all that stuff is super powerful and super crazy, and it works. At the end of the day, dollar per ruble or whatever other currency you want to compare it to, you can do completely asymmetrical outmaneuvering for the amount of money that you're going to spend. You can asymmetrically just like for the amount of money that you spend versus like someone buying a plane versus someone buying a missile. Investing in the missile is basically like a cent is worth a dollar, it seems, because Iran's got these missiles and they can hit our stuff, and they've got the Russian S-400s.
Blow up Iran. When you take a look at what happened in December and January, it's very clear what happened. We know what happened. The United States, the CIA, and others have infiltrated over 100,000 Starlink terminals into Iran. And these Starlink terminals are used to create an alternative communication reality where we communicate inside, infecting the minds of people, using them to recruit cellular structures. Iran showed some capability of suppressing this and interdicting.
And see, we wouldn't put up with that. We wouldn't put up with, civilian manipulation. If the Chinese were going to invade here, and on TikTok, it was like, "Sing Dao was a pinga," and it was all, and it was all, like the Chim Pokemon from South Park episode where it was programming the children to like let the Japanese take over or something. Oh, something like that. We wouldn't tolerate that. So why are we expecting them to tolerate it, right? And this is the thing about the United States position in the world. It's untenable, right? And there's going to be a multipolar world very, very soon because other countries don't want to have to suffer this, and they don't want to live under the yoke of it. They want international law to actually mean something. They want to be protected by a global system. And China believes we're going to lose our influence by 2050 fully. And when that happens, there's going to be, the shoe's going to be on the other foot, so to speak.
But ultimately, they only got hundreds, if not just a few thousands of terminals. We're talking about another 70 to 80,000 terminals still in existence that have been outfitted with special Israeli software designed to prevent detection, frequency hopping, military style, Starlink, which means that there is tremendous potential to generate more civilian unrest, violent civilian unrest. So the Americans are planning to bomb Iran, trigger massive protests, violent protests, suppress the regime, and carry out regime change, to include killing the supreme leader, trying to kill the presidency, killing the leadership. This is why Jared Kushner, I don't understand why the Iranians even accept this. They should have kicked him out of if I were the Iranian delegate, as soon as Jared Kushner sat down, I said, "Is it true that you met with Iranian opposition leaders in the United States before coming here to plan a future government of Iran?" "Yes, get the fuck out of here. We're not dealing with you. We're not dealing with anybody who thinks there's going to be a future government with Iran. If that's the position of the United States, these negotiations are over. And if you send another fucking excuse my language, if you send another aircraft into the Middle East, we'll take it out preemptively." I mean, Iran is setting itself up for failure here. They're negotiating with a man who is deliberately plotting against them, which means he isn't negotiating in good faith. Understand that. If Jared Kushner is preparing the follow-on government, how could he be negotiating in good faith? He's not. It's to buy time. And J.D. Vance sort of gave the farm away, pretending about diplomacy, but saying right up front, "Nah, we're going to pull the trigger. And we're going to pull the trigger before 2 weeks is up." That's my assessment of what's going on right now. I think the United States is setting Iran up for a mass war. Now, whether this war succeeds is another question. I'm not saying there's a guarantee of success. What I'm saying is that the people who were hesitant about a war set conditions, and those conditions are being met, which means it's like we experienced during the Gulf War when General Schwarzkopf didn't want to pull the trigger on the ground war too soon. So I think we had 5 criteria that had to be met in terms of suppression of the Iraqi Republican Guard, and we had a board on the wall that went red no, yellow maybe, green go, and the goal was to get them all to green. And that meant we could launch the ground war. And I remember as we were going on and it came down to battle damage assessment on how many things have been destroyed, Schwarzkopf was getting frustrated because people like me were saying, "Well, we ain't destroying certain things." So finally they just went, "We're going to change the way we calculate. No more analysis. We're just going to do numbers. If we drop X number of bombs, we can discern a certain amount of percentage. Ding, ding, the lights change, war go." And that's how it worked. But I'm saying that's what's happening now. There's a board somewhere in the Pentagon with all the green lights of things that have to happen. And when they all turn green, the president will be told to launch. But the goal of the president isn't
when they all turn green, he's talking about the missile defense and the positioning of the planes and the carriers and all of it. And when we're ready to go in, I'm going to play some clips to Lindsey Graham here in a second talking about this stuff years in the past. All right. He's wanted this for a very long time. The president will execute, and I agree, right? Because of the Epstein file, because of, God knows what else, the president will, press the button. The president will initiate military operations. And then when that happens, you don't get to decide where that goes. And they want to pretend like they do. And that's what pisses me off, is they're like, we are genius Mensa scientists. We are lawyers from Washington, D.C. or from Seattle or from New York. Ugh, Northerners, Yankees, man. I mean, we're liberal. I would go around the city. I'm liberal. And they vote for total death and they try to initiate it. And then they get military commanders appointed, generals appointed. Hey, you want to be the 4-star, don't you? Why, yes, sir, I do. I do want to be the 4-star. Well, you understand how important securing the Middle East is to us, don't you? Oh, absolutely, sir. I 100% support Israel. Well, good. We're going into combat soon. You better be ready. We may lose about 50,000 men. Oh, well, that'll be tough for me. I served. I was on the ground. I was a good boy. I fought in Iraq and I fought in Afghanistan. Now you've elevated me to be a general. Now I guess I'll sign up to die for Israel and send my men to die too. Well, that's the good part about being in charge, young man. You don't have to actually die. You send others to do it for you. And real people like a Scott Ritter or like a Lawrence Wilkerson or like a Ray McGovern, they get pushed away. They're not appointed to these positions. Scott Ritter worked with Trump a little bit. Other people like this, like Douglas McGregor, Colonel Douglas McGregor, of course, can't forget him, have also worked for Trump. You have to understand, good people don't rise to the top. And it's bad, illiterate, ignorant people making military decisions on behalf of the American public and pressuring the president to do so. And it doesn't matter if the general has been in power for 30 years and knows everything about the military, knows everything we think about the military, at least because it's a lot of propaganda, to tell you the truth. At the end of the day, all that guy cares about are the 4 stars on his jacket. And damned to be everything else, right? And yeah, and corrupt people too, of course. That's a good point. That's a good point. I'll go back to it.
Define the diplomatic solution. Diplomacy.
Actually, you know what? In 1 second, because I want to reference this here. I'm going to get this together. We're going to stay on this for a little bit. Big show tonight. Good show tonight. I got a lot of clips, so I might not get to. But the Iran stuff is important. I want to get it all. So I want to show you Lindsey Graham last year in June, right? I think this may be during the war. I'm not sure on the exact date of the 12-year, or not 12-year, hopefully not 12-year, of the 12-day war. This is what they want, okay?
Senator Graham, you said you believe it's in America's interest to go all in to help Israel finish the job. It sounds like you mean offensive support.
So the worst possible outcome for the world is for the Iranian nuclear program to survive after all this. How do you just...
He don't care about the lives. He don't care about the actual military strike. He's not going to directly address the question, Iran, can I have a nuclear weapon? I'm a gay man named Lady G who goes to Ukraine and spends, $500,000 on hotels and hookers and prostitutes, allegedly, not literally. It's not a fact. This is a parody impression. I'm not being serious right now. I'm not defaming you. I'm just, doing a gay man Lindsey Graham impression, I don't know. I'll have to practice his accent a little bit. I'll have to get it down. This guy is a monster. He calls himself the combat lawyer. Okay, he's never served in combat. He was just an army lawyer, right? And the worst of war, of course, the lawyer that works for the military industrial complex and signs up to do that becomes one of the worst politicians in American history. Of course that happens.
Destroy their program through diplomacy. I prefer that, or through military action. If diplomacy is not successful and we left with the option of force, I would urge President Trump to go all in to make sure that when this operation is over, there's nothing left standing in Iran.
Minor audio glitch. Give me 1 second.
Erdogan is sophisticated,
minor audio glitch. Not a big issue. We're going to go back to it.
On regarding their nuclear program. If that means providing bombs, provide bombs. If that means busting bombs, whatever bombs. If it means flying.
And remember, he's so happy because we dropped so many bombs. We're killing all the right people and cutting your taxes. These are Lindsey Graham quotes. This is a madman. This is a murderer. This is a genocidal human being, in my opinion. Not stating it as fact. In my opinion, of course, everything's always allegedly, and in my opinion, and it's all speculation. Well, I giant 50,000 foot thick titanium force field I put around myself, indemnifying it all. Okay, I can say whatever I want. Comedy show, punditry show, news analysis, and imaginative commentary. We'll call it. Okay.
With Israel, fly with Israel. The worst possible outcome for the world is to take the Iranian nuclear program on and leave it standing.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a disaster.
Senator Blumenthal, what's your view? How involved should the U.S. get?
And see, this is a Democrat, Blumenthal, and a Republican, Lindsey Graham. These are the two vultures over the dead carcass that metaphysically is the United States of America, or the dying carcass, at least. Let's not be too negative. And they're literally sitting there figuring out, I'm going to eat the liver. You're going to eat the heart. Oh, it's going to be good when we eat that heart. Oh, it's going to be delicious. But, I was the one that secured those bombs that really wiped out this thing and made no one around the globe ever want to work on it again, made the nation die. Oh, yeah. And they'll be in the nursing home together eating baby blood and having these discussions, right? This is a bipartisan issue. Being pro-war is a bipartisan issue for these people. Yeah, best representation of the left-right paradigm. Couldn't have said it better myself. Excellent point.
Let's begin with the basic proposition.
Vampire. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's the same with Lindsey Graham. I've met tons of people from South Carolina. People from South Carolina are great. How do you elect these people? How do you elect this man? Not this guy, Lindsey Graham.
That ought to motivate American policy as well as the world's. A nuclear-armed Iran is an unacceptable threat to the world, not just to Israel, but to the United States as well. And I support Israel's right to defend itself against this existential menace. I'm very concerned right now about United States personnel in the region, our servicemen and women, but also the civilians that are there. I'm getting phone calls from families in Connecticut who are deeply worried about their children who were there, about the hostage families. I support the president's effort to prioritize diplomacy.
Well, how'd that work out? They prioritized diplomacy, all right. They used diplomacy as a tool to figure out where all their nuclear weapons were apparently supposed to be. Of course, they didn't have them, but they found their nuclear, testing sites and whatnot, and their enriched uranium. And then they dropped bunker buster bombs on top of their heads inside the mountains, of course. So we got that, and then we got one that's even worse. We got him talking about nukes. I mean, like, the raped. Like, what is going on here in South Carolina? How do you keep electing this man?
Historians would say, why is it okay for Reagan to do it and not President Biden? But let me ask you about
why is it okay? Deal. Well, can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs?
Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, but it's not okay for me to kill all the people and little kids in Iran and bathe in the blood and become a demon prince? Why is that wrong?
On Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war.
I hadn't even seen this, but I knew where it was going. What is scumbag? And the libbot is like, what? Like, what did you just say? She's unprepared for it. It would be pretty crazy. I don't know what I would say off the rip to that too, because he's like coming at you. He's coming at you a little bit there. Be a little menacing. We'll watch that. Dude, I mean, all right. I like doing the show. I don't care if there's just like one person watching me, because that means we get to like watch this together, and I would watch it anyway. The raped. I mean, like, this is what is going on here? Like, why is he so red? He's got like 1,000-year bags. He looks like he's about to cry. He's got like sad puppy dog eyes because there's not enough blood. It's like, please, I just want the blood. I just love it so much.
Historians would say, why is it okay for Reagan?
And he like licks his mouth like a lizard.
to do it and not President Biden. But let me ask you about
Well,
the
why is
big
it okay?
deal.
Well, can I say this? Why is it okay for America to drop 2 nuclear bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki to end their existential threat war? Why was it okay for us to do that? I thought it was okay. To Israel, do whatever you have to do to survive as a Jewish state.
Senator, again, military officials say
Whatever
the
you have to
technology
do.
has changed.
I give my permission for the bomb. I mean, South Carolina people got to be studied. Let me look it up. Where does I bet it's this? I bet it's a boomer problem. Where does South Carolina rank in old people, boomers, as percentage of population? And this is how Google used to this is how I thought Google would work as a kid. Now you can have the AI look up stats and tell you. It's pretty cool. Let's see. Ooh, okay. All right, we've made the connection. I'm deviating a little bit from my plan tonight, but this is just fun. It's always fun to talk about Lady G. Look at this, guys. Check this out. I mean, this makes it make sense. So you go, this guy's unelectable. This guy's like chud maxing and is advocating for a nuclear holocaust over Iran and telling Israel that they have his permission to drop the bomb, essentially. He's saying everything but that. How does he get elected? Where does South Carolina rank in old people boomers as percentage of population? As of 2025, 2026, South Carolina has one of the oldest populations in the United States, frequently ranking in the top 10 to 15 states for the highest percentage of residents aged 65 or older. That's how they get you, man. That's how these people stay in power. It's cited around 10th. So 4 out of 5 states, it's going to have more boomers in it. That's pretty crazy. Like a 20% boomer population. Imagine dealing with that as an electorate. You never get anybody good. And that makes sense. Now we understand. Isn't that nice? Watch the clip one more time, or actually just close it out. And look at this. That might be my new YouTube profile photo.
But let me ask you about how all
these
of this
military
could
officials
impact.
that you're talking about
Let me ask you
are
something.
full of crap.
Let me ask you something that
These military officials you're talking about are full of crap because they don't agree with me, Mr. Lady G. Okay. Got some footage of the military.
God bless our troops.
Oh my gosh.
God bless America. And gentlemen.
And notice they put the badass tough music Thunderstruck behind it. Oh, doesn't that make you high? I'm like fuck you. Like, whoever made this piece of propaganda, even if you think it was a cool thing to do or cool, so the views of the numbers, fuck you. You know what's going to happen because of this shit? Little kids are going to die. And I guess that's cool with some people, and they'll call me like a pussy or like a tree hugger for saying that. But fuck you. Seriously. Like come up to me and tell me to my face, like, yeah, I want to kill little kids because I think that the B-2 is cool. I want to kill little kids because I think the aircraft carrier is cool. I want to unalive, little ones because I'm a big fan of our missile capabilities when they're launched from plants. I mean, disgusting. All right, I don't care. I don't care what you're saying. Again, breakdown of all the forces in the region ain't that friendly, ain't that nice. It's more forces we're in that we're in Venezuela, and of course, we were spending nearly $1 billion a day to stay in Venezuela. Think about the money here. Got the Ritter clip. Maybe we go back to that. Maybe we play a little bit more of it. Look at this. 27. Quinnipiac poll. If protesters in Iran are killed while demonstrating against the Iranian government, do you think the United States should take military action against Iran? Or should the U.S. not get involved? So should 18% of Democrats, 35% of Republicans. It's enormously unpopular. 70% of Democrats say should not. 53% of Republicans say should not. I thought we lived in a constitutional republic. I thought the elected officials were supposed to act on the will of the people that elected them. We overwhelmingly voted against this. Okay, so them telling us to tolerate it or to accept it in any way, fuck you. Seriously, like F you from the bottom of my heart, because I don't want little kids to die. And we got Marjorie Taylor Greene kind of giving that message to the world. Dear world, Americans overwhelmingly do not support going to war. In 2024, we voted to end foreign wars and regime change. Americans want affordable health, home and auto insurance, and good health care. Americans want rich, powerful PDF files and rapists strung up on gallows, even if it collapses our own government. They've also said wood chippers, literally quoting the American people. Americans want a good paying job and to be able to buy a nice home. Americans just want good trade deals and world peace. We love to travel to many of your lovely countries. I just thought someone should tell you outside of our ruling class. So, yeah. I mean, we live in kleptocracy. I mean, they might as well just like, instead of calling themselves senators, why can't they just call themselves lords? Because that's how they operate. We're serfs. We don't have any actual agency over our government. We're all cucked by the state. No matter how big and tough you are, you're a servant of the state, no matter what you do. They get you with poison. They get you with propaganda. They get you with, media hypnosis and things like this. And eventually you're taught and trained to accept the fact that you can't do anything to change this or do anything to stop that. And we reject that message completely on this show. And that's what this show is about. Even if there's just one person listening to me right now, that's all that matters. We do not accept this. Wow, from Cole Dodson, 27% Trump approval among voters, 1844, according to Qantas Insights, D+6 blowout in the midterms, according to Mark Mitchell Rasmussen. Polling, the most accurate pollster in the USA. Yeah, I mean, like anyone who couldn't see that after the initial Iran strikes and like the Epstein file thing coming out, like this is where we're living in now, and there's still people trying to make hay, and the sun is not shining. The sun is completely down. The wolves are in the farm, and you're in the backyard trying to make hay. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work out for you. They're cooked. We know that. We love our strike group. We love our Israelis. Oh, they so good. Oh, they so sweet. I'll sing a new version of that. Someone come up with the lyrics and at me on Twitter. And if I miss it, just at me a few times and I'll come find it. I check my notifications, semi-regularly. So that's a good idea. We love our strike group. We love our Israelis. Oh, they so good. Oh, they so sweet. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, I will. Help me out with it, man. Use AI or be creative and write it yourself, and I might make some changes to it. I'll do it. That's fun. We like to have fun. You got to lighten things up with comedy a little bit because this is a very dark situation, right? And we don't have agency, man. And Trump was supposed to be the ultimate agency, and that's what makes the rape even more pronounced, right? And even more, untenable. We got Dan Bongino's segment. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this goodie. Dan Bongino's viewership is collapsing at 2/2/2026 when he initially launched, 100% down to 51% by the next day, 34%, 41%, 36%, crashing down to 24% as of yesterday. So I thought, like you said, Dan, that everyone in media, like little old myself and little old me and everyone else, all my friends from various organizations and places I've worked for, we were all just throwing popcorn in the arena, and you gotta let the real men fight it out. They gotta duke it out in the Coliseum, Back when I was a little kid and they put me in the cab and they taught me to say, I'm walking here for the first time. Back when I was in the Secret Service busting people with counterfeit bills. Back when I was Secret Service detail having to, polish off Obama, at night to keep him satisfied because Big Mike wouldn't do it. Back in the day, I was fighting in the arena. I was sparring. I was, play fighting, doing WWE. And don't you dare, as media, throw popcorn in there because we're the real men. And it's just like, bro, it's to see what he's become. And here's the thing. I have empathy and emotional response to it. Like, we're all sinners and we're all human beings and we all got flaws and vices and things. And whatever they've got on you or like whatever you're having to go through, you should just admit all of it. And like, whether that's they're trying to unalive people you care about or whether that like they have something on you, it doesn't matter anymore, man. The person that breaks the story on all this stuff, the person that's actually a whistleblower, not just, and this is a message from everyone, including my dad, a lot of the time, like, we're looking into it. Don't worry. Like, we got people. Oh, we got the good guys. We got the good team. Tulsi Gabbard. And it's just like the first person to actually clear any of this up will be an American hero. We'll build statues for him. And you got to do something at some point, because what's happened to him from the time we're 2012, I am 10 years old. I'm watching Dan Bongino on our show. I'm watching Dan Bongino as a teenager, right? I'm watching him when I'm sitting in the IT room in InfoWars when I have my office in there with the boys, with Zimmy and Blake and Joe and Tim and all the phenomenal folks in the IT department, the former IT department of Free Speech Systems. Real ninjas, very cool guys. I'm sitting in there, I'm watching Dan Bongino host the Fourth Hour. And it's not the same guy. And no wonder it's reflected in your viewership. And I'm sorry, you said we're all throwing popcorn in the arena. Why did you come back? Why did you come back to media if it's so ignoble and down low in the dirt and for the swine? Why would you come back? He's come back to be an official state mouthpiece for the system. And it doesn't matter how low his views go or whatever happens. Ultimately, his job is now to be basically a Fox News correspondent on YouTube, pushing government propaganda for some sort of paycheck. Not saying he's getting paid directly for doing propaganda or anything like that. I'm saying he's getting paid based off AdSense, based off numbers, based off studio deals that he wouldn't get if he didn't have his political affiliations and positioning. Excellent take from Milo here. A little sip of water. I'm a little raspy. You know how things can abruptly just not be funny anymore? Is it just me, or is he on the verge of an episode, Dan Bongino? He looks seriously unwell in his last few months on the job. Dan Bongino from Dan Bongino. I'm elated. Good word. I like elated. That's a good word. That my interview with Director Patel pissed off all the right media people. Oh, he said the word pissed off, don't you? Ah, he's a tough guy, Mr. Bongino. Pissed off all the right media people. I thoroughly enjoy watching you all rage out. It's crash out, old man. First off, you're not up to date on the terms now. And claw at your own face. Who's doing that? Who's doing that besides you? And claw at your own faces along with your daily burning sessions of me in effigy. That's weird. A little satanic ritual reference. A little, that's a little odd, right? I mean, this is the thing about the things people say, right? Like you can glean a lot from it, especially in the written word. Like, wow. Okay. All right. That's just where his mind was at when he decided to make the metaphor. You can tell a lot about people by the metaphors they use, by the way. In effigy, as I destroy your BS narratives, I know Schadenfreude, that's what, like, the feeling of pleasure or relief or like happiness when you see someone else go through something horrible because like you're mad at them. It's like beta male passive aggressive sophistry. At the end of the day, that's what that represents. I know Schadenfreude is probably wrong, but I gently hope. I mean, come on, man. This is real. You know, gay porn's less gay than this, man. Gently hope that all of my shows moving forward cause you the same anguish and intention or intestinal distress. What? Burning me in effigy? I want to make you have anguish and intestinal distress. Like this is very dark. I'm sorry, guys. I still have like minor cold. And it's just like this respiratory thing that's going around my nose. I don't know if it's allergies or whatever, but they post nasal drip. I apologize. I'm okay. Like this is bizarre. This is really crazy stuff. But let's watch a few segments of the interview with Patel, Director Patel, Kash Patel, who, for the record, okay, he's a grifter. All right, par excellence. He wrote a children's book about how he's the little knight helping the Wizard King Trump arrest the bad guys. Okay, like I'm sure the boomer grandmas all got their kids that for Christmas. I'm sure he made a bag off of that. So I rate his intelligence. And I think he's like, you know, you look like a Disney villain or something that's like just like slick. You know, like they're repugnant, but like you kind of like Better Call Saul. You know, like you got a definitely not 100% not spy girlfriend who's a country music sensation, and you criticize the past director for taking the jet out, but you use the jet to visit her, and you sell like challenge coins that are like spiders with skull eyes that have guns inside of the eyes of the skull, like par excellence. Okay. All right, like we know what you are, but Dan Bongino, he was a loyal soldier, you know, of the movement, or so we thought. So just for the record, you know, I do have more admiration for Patel because at least he is what he represents. And, you know, if he lies, he's laughing at you, and you got to accept that. But I mean, look at we got Alien versus Predator here. Like, what's going on here? Obviously, it's a freeze frame, and everybody looks bad in a freeze frame. But I mean, these are the people behind the wheel of the ship. I mean, doesn't that make you feel uncomfortable?
I think you and I did a pretty good job. But, it really isn't hard when you focus them on the bad guys.
Well, it's not hard, Dan, as you know,
The bad guys, it's not hard when you're focusing, it's this guy, his name's Lucky Luke, and he wears a fedora and he smokes a cigar. Lucky Luke was running the numbers. He was scamming and trapping, as the kids say. We busted him. We arrested 3 people. When you go after the bad guys, it's really all that easy. Yeah, when you bust the minor criminals, just like Pam Bondi, when they're like, hey, why aren't the Epstein files unredacted when she's being questioned in Congress? She goes, well, you had a criminal who raped somebody and it was in your district. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? I swear not to pause it too much. I'm sorry. I wish it had the back function that YouTube has.
Focus them on the bad guys.
Well, it's not hard, Dan, as you know, as an 1811 and a former police officer, it's not hard to do the job you signed up for if you're allowed to do the job you signed up for. And President Trump and this administration backs law enforcement and gave us the resources at this FBI and gave us the autonomy in you and I in running this building to remove the red tape, to remove the unnecessary approvals, and to get 1,000 extra agents. That's what we did, Dan. We put 1,000 agents into the field from Washington, D.C. We permanently removed them from the National Capital Region and sent them across to every single field office. And what did that do?
What did that do? What did that do? We moved the ground troops around and acted like we were doing a big job, but we redacted the names and we shredded all the files. We made sure no one's going to arrest the PDF files that run the government. I'm Kash Patel. Yeah.
People to hit the streets and investigate crimes, and it led to this. And I know you've seen this, but this is...
Oh my God, they have a postcard? Dude, it's over. It's done. They got text from ChatGPT on a page. Okay. You know what? Gray area has been fun. RexX gray area has been fun. Conspiracy Talks Anthony's been fun. I'm done with the show. They got a postcard and they're looking into it. Just kidding, of course. Just kidding.
1 year in the making of true historic reductions in crime.
This is the guy that said he wanted to destroy the Hoover building and then just move them into a bigger building and turn it into a museum of crime.
And you're talking about a 20% reduction in murder rate. You're talking about a 32% increase in fentanyl seizures, enough to kill 150 million Americans. Dan, you're talking about 4 top 10 arrests in 1 year, but as soon as you left, I had to add 2 more. So now we're up to 6. I couldn't let it stand at 4. So in 1 calendar year, we arrested 6 of the FBI's
I wanted
most
that one
fugitives
bad.
in the world.
You know what I'm talking about. I was busting my ass on that one, but I was like, So, but hey, good job. Once I saw it on the news, I was proud of you.
Wait, I missed something there because I was texting. What are they? I'm congratulating you because you did a good job. You got the postcard and it's got a lot of words on there that are like 6 or 7 letters. And, I can't read that much. So, it looks impressive to me. And he's like, of course it's impressive. And, we had the best year ever. The murder rate's down. That's what Americans care about. They don't care about grand corruption and demonic pedophile schemes. They're not interested in that. We got the murder rate down. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to get the murder rate down, okay? Good job. Compared to Joe Biden, who y'all said was destroying the country and running everything into the ground. And I believe that too, to be fair. Shouldn't it be much better? And you're demanding more of us. We're working hard for you. It's yeah, we're demanding more. Unredact the files. That's what we all care about. This is all posturing and lies.
6. I couldn't let it stand at 4. So in 1 calendar year, we arrested 6 of the FBI's
I wanted that one.
They arrested 6 people. Holy shit. They arrested 6 people. Yeah, it's solved. Dude, it's solved. We don't have to throw the ring into the Mount Doom. We can just take it back. Incredible. Yeah, Patel needs knee pads.
Bad. You know what I'm talking about. I was busting my ass on that one. But, I was like, So, but hey, good job.
Does Dan Bongino have AIDS? Does he have HIV? He kind of looks like he's got a weight loss disorder. Chronic wasting disorder or chronic wasting disease with deer. Maybe he got that.
once I saw it on the news, I was proud of you and the guys.
No, you laid it, and you gotta let you know those 6 go to you. You laid the groundwork for it. You work quietly behind the scenes. I'm just telling you. And look, I think
bro, he's a goon. He's a goon. He's like, hey, boss, you want me to throw him off the building, boss? You want us to hide the body? You want us to sell the drugs? Whatever you need, boss. He's a goon. Oh, yeah. Goon Bongino, bro.
the audience should know. I can't even memorize these. I look at these every.
I can't even memorize it. It's just, like 400 characters, but I never learned to read. And it's so funny, right? Because I got this job and I'm the FBI director. I can't read. And, that's why me and you became friends, Dan, is because we both can't read. Yeah, I mean, when I see a thing that's, got like 5 or 6 letters or 6 or 7 letters, that's for the people with the real smarts. It's for the boss. I'm just happy to do whatever the boss tells me to do. And, that postcard is real important. Absolutely. I can't even memorize it all. I mean, what world are we living in, man? What planet do these people come from? These people come from Alpha Centauri or something? What is going on?
Day, and it's just hard to believe. 490% increase in those who prey upon our children. 490% increase in arrests by the FBI. The FBI under the last year.
Not the ones with money. Those ones are safer than ever.
Here, twice as many increase for violent crime from 24 to 25. Twice as many arrests. That's unbelievable, Dan. These numbers are truly historic. And that was the foundational tectonic shift you and I put into place in the FBI to let the cops go out there and be cops. And this is what happens.
And one of the things I know I've heard you emphasize.
Okay, we'll go to the next one. I mean, it's just incredible, man. I love to rag on him, man. I love it. This is more low-hanging fruit than ripping on Tim Pool and Mr. Heavy Metal and Beavis and Butthead's teacher on Timcast. Like, this is, I mean, like, the complete oblivion shill staring off into void space to hypnotize us all. And then shame, regret, pain, suffering, tantalization, torture, the guy always being out of reach of the fruit. But, he's so hungry, he can't reach it, but he's in hell. He's Tantalus, so he can't reach the fruit. I mean, the Greek tragedy and then sham wow. Like, you can't ask for any better, higher level thing than this, but also low level, easy to talk about.
19 people have been convicted for acts of violence related to Antifa. It's in the indictment. You don't got to believe.
Antifa, we're arresting Antifa.
Believe me or you, everybody can go read the public indictment. And it didn't just happen there. It happened in Cop City in Georgia, where we had to go rearrest everybody because the state authorities couldn't get their act together to produce the enough information to take that to trial. So we did. And it's not a.
And here's the thing. I'm not discounting any of the good work that's been done. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have happened or that it doesn't matter. It's a good thing. But they present bare minimum or like below bare minimum, just like, opening the door of the house before you clean it. They expect that to be like, that's their PhD, thesis that they're turning in, right? That's their 8-year job project that they've committed on delivering to us. And they want us to pass that off as that. These people, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino specifically, they, for all intents and purposes, ran. I know they didn't run. I know they got appointed, but in the electorate of public opinion, these people basically ran on, we will release the files. We're going to get Epstein. Dan Bongino, do not let this go. This is the most important thing in history. That's a Dan Bongino quote when referring to the Epstein file. And then, of course, Kash Patel writing books about he's had the little baby night wizard or whatever, and he helps the big Papa Wizard Trump, save the Magic Kingdom. Like it's, if you think I'm making it up, I'm not making it up. I'm gonna go to it real quick. After I'll play this out, I'll go to it.
Creation or manufacturing of information. It exists. It's just a willingness that you and I and this building's new leadership took to say, we're going to look at the facts that exist. We're not going to try to make up facts that don't, so we can serve a political narrative. And wait till you, and I know you know this, but wait till you see what's coming in the next month or two on the funding streams related to this. You and I have launched a serious investigation. We had said these organizations.
All right, this is why I'm not a professional. I totally blanked on what I said I would pull up. Will y'all tell me in the comments or in chat? Please, chat. Will you tell me what it is that I was going to pull up? Because it was going to be good. It was Cash Patel related. I remember that, but it's just completely like it came out of my head. Damn it! I hate when that happens. I hate when that happens. Like Owen or Harrison would never do that. That's only me because I go too fast. Yeah. Thank you for reposting the stream, man. Anyone reposting the stream right now? Massive W. Oh, Cash Patel Wizard book. Okay, I'll play this out.
Don't operate alone. Don't operate in silence. They operate with a heavy, heavy stream of funding. And we started looking into it. And guess what, Dan? We found them.
Okay, I've got it. Okay, so Trump is actually the King Knight, and Patel is kind of a wizard figure. But just check this out. Give me one second. I don't want to mess up my timeline here. Okay. Wait. There's not just one. There's 3 sequels to this book. Patel has also authored children's books that lionize Trump. The Plot Against the King, featuring a thinly veiled Hillary Clinton as the villain going after King Donald, while Cash plays a wizard who thwarts her plans. The Biden, Kamala, is that Blinken? That's pretty funny, actually. That's pretty good. And then you got Patel, and you got Trump, and you got the big dragon in the back. I mean, come on, man. Like, this isn't real. Like, this can't. We're living in a fake universe, basically. Wow. But I'll go ahead and get back to the topic at hand. One second. Yeah, I'll read chat here for a little bit. Rex needs to get Kyle Seraphin on to just do a Decipher commentary on that interview with him. I think it would be great. That's a really phenomenal idea. We'll talk about that. We're going to have him on next Sunday. Me and Tim on the Full Gray Area show. We're going to have him on next Sunday, and we'll definitely do that. Maybe I do a solo stream with him or something like that on one of the days where it's not Gray Area and we do a video react, or maybe Tim wants to do that as the deep dive. And if he's down to do 2.5 hours, we could do that too. It just depends on how much of the man's time he's willing to, share with us. We really appreciate him sharing his time. And whenever we get a big guest like that, we really value having them on the show. So it's all up to him, of course. And we do the show late in the day, right? Like, this is nighttime or evening show. This is for people, want to watch something on YouTube or watch something on X while they, eat dinner or, just chill out or play with the dog, whatever. It's supposed to be a chill show, chill stream. I always say that. But yeah, if he's willing to get on and give up some of his night so we can make that happen, that would be super cool. And, I'd probably film earlier in the day solo as well if we can make that work. Phenomenal idea. I'll remember that. When I rewatch the live, I'll make a note of this on my phone. Thank you. Yeah, GG America. Damon in chat. What's up, Damon? King Damon, helping with the show, doing a great job on the producer team. Thank you for being here tonight, David. I got more Bongino for you. You think I'm out? You think he's definitely Italian, right? But I don't want to say Italian. You think a guy from Jersey ever gets down? You think I ever get discouraged? No, we're tougher than that. I'm tougher than that. Let me tell you that right now, man.
Disturbing case with a bunch of level 10 decisions where there's a shitty decision and a shittier one. Do we redact these 4 guys in a...
No. See, your framing is all wrong, Mr. Bongino. See, it's not a shit or a shittier decision. It's actually, you know what? Taking it all back and trying to be smarter. I agree with you. Both of the choices that you present are horrible options, right? Because you're covering up for these people. You're implicated somehow. They've gotten you somehow. So in my theory, pure speculation, not saying that as a statement of fact, indemnification, giant force field. Throwing the force field around myself right now, protecting myself. Indemnification, all pure speculation. The people that you work for, and at this point, according to, my subjective viewing of your program, you've been subverted by, they're making you choose those 2 decisions. There's a third decision: release it all, release everything. Do what you said you were going to do for a decade straight.
Lineup, knowing people are going to speculate about, gosh, who were these 4 guys? Were they part of this ring? Were they part of a cabal of people? Or don't redact them and then, innocent people get outed. These were the decisions that had to be dealt with every day. Shitty decisions and shittier ones. That's what
Wait, what was he saying? We'll rewatch that. What was he saying, man?
In a lineup, knowing people are going to speculate about, gosh, who were these four guys? Were they part of this ring? Were they part of a cabal of people?
He knows they are. Look at his face. Well, another day at the salt mine. You know, Master Patel tells me I got to work harder down here. I mean, come on, man.
Or don't redact them, and then, you know, innocent people get outed. These were the decisions that had to be dealt with every day. Shitty decisions and shittier ones. That's what President Trump has to deal with every single day of his life, and everyone else at that principal level. Everyone. Mike Davis, I can't tell you about this tweet enough because it describes everything. But this is an early tweet, by the way. Mike was on this from the start. This guy's a fantastic lawyer. Mike Davis nailed this from the beginning about what the problems were going to be on the case. If anyone wants kind of a rational, reason-based approach, put that tweet up. I thought that was a hint, the Mike Davis tweet. I got to.
Okay, so these are the claims by the government. Anyone who rapes deserves the death penalty. Here's the problem with the Epstein mess. Can't even spell it right. What's going? E. Epstein? Are you retarded? Get hit in the head and fall off a turnip truck? The FBI doesn't have the evidence, but he thought it did. What happened to them saying it did? Pam Bondi's on hidden cameras saying they had thousands of videos of men implicating rich, powerful men that did this type of thing. FBI didn't have the evidence. It thought it did. Not the thousands of redacted emails. If it didn't have the evidence, the names of the people who are the people that are sending the emails to Jeffrey Epstein with the very, very barely coded language about the little kids, like that's what we want. That's what's there. That's what's available. That's what I'll debate Michael Tracy over. That'll be the cornerstone of my argument. We have the proof. These people are not victims. If you're talking to Jeffrey Epstein, the society as a whole, okay, the electorate, we have decided that if you were talking to Jeffrey Epstein about beef jerky, pizza holder, little kids with specific ages, talking about, a child feeling the presence of Jesus after Epstein grapes her, all these, absolutely horrible, abominable things. If you're like, that's not a big deal, the American public doesn't deserve to know the names of the people that sent the emails because they're victims somehow, you are a liar, sir. How are they victims? Can you articulate that exactly? There are not tapes with powerful men raping kids. We already went over why that's not true. There is not a list. I have the file on my desk, says Bonnie, and then she says there is no file, like list of names. Come on, man. Come on, brother.
He says, here's the problem with the Epstein mess. The FBI doesn't have the evidence many thought it did. You can see the emails on that when we're querying, hey, is there an uncharged third party here? There are not tapes with powerful men raping kids. There is not a list. Epstein's Rolodexes are.
I must read this. I'm Dan Bongino. These words are big, but they had me practice with my Mossad handler before the show. I finally, how do you say it? Wecker under seal?
Pretty public. The file is largely unreleasable for many reasons, including grand jury materials, correct, 6E material.
And you know what? It's mean to make fun of people that have mental disabilities, but this guy has a self-inflicted mental disability, so it's okay to make fun of it. Okay? He's made himself blind, so we can call him blind.
Court records under seal was correct.
And honestly, saying that he's stupid and saying that he doesn't understand it is kind of giving him an excuse, because if you do understand it, you're much worse.
Child pornography and pornography in general, I explained that. Victims who need to be protected, they don't want their names out there. And unsubstantiated, even double or triple hearsay and some bogus claims, which would permanently destroy the reputation of innocent people if released. That's it. Summed up. That's how it goes.
Whoa. Okay. There's so much, man. Like these. I learned this from Red Bar. Okay. It's not original. I'm even, stealing the concept of, the resident fools. And Dan Bongino is one of my favorite fools. I'm a fool too. I'm not trying to be a hypocrite. I'm dumb as well. But you know what? Ultimately, I'm not this. I'm not a sellout for the government. So, I'm not in the same category as you, Mr. Bongino. But at the end of the day, like, this is the gift that keeps on giving to me. Let's analyze this. Does anyone really believe Pam Bondi The Dow is over 50,000. It's over 9,000. Like, all right, sorry to get loud, sorry to yell. Does anyone really believe Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, or Dan Bongino would cover up for the likes of Bill Clinton or Bill Gates? Oh, Bill Gates that visits the White House and eats with Trump and is Trump's friend, and then Bill Clinton, I'm on tape. Here's the thing, man. When I got on in that hot tub, I was on so much K, I didn't know what was going on, man. And she told me afterwards that, she was underage, and Jeffrey was right there. He was doing a Fortnite dance on me. He was doing the L dance on me. He was doing a Fortnite dance, and I was like, all right. When I was Attorney General of Arkansas, we made a lot of decisions to bring a lot of drugs in, a lot of cocaine, and ultimately, if I'm a barbecue baby, I've been kind of warming up to this for a long time, and I'm all right with it. So I mean, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, two of the giant, implicated people in this entire scenario. If they had that evidence, does anyone really believe these people would cover up for these people who are all powerful and like each other and work in the government and have fake beef? I mean, come on, brother. Come on, brother. Come on, man. The Trump Justice Department wanted to be fully transparent, but it can't. I mean, come on, man. The Trump Justice Department. I'm sorry to spend like 15 minutes on this. It's just, I wasn't sure about this last clip because I hadn't seen it yet, but it's so good. And just the cherry on top is coming up. So we're going to hang out a little bit. We're going to have fun here. The Justice Department wanted to be fully transparent. Of course, they're good people, but it can't for the reasons above. So shut up, bitch. Shut up, ho. We're your pimp. We're the United States government. We're the three-letter agencies. We can do whatever we want. Screw you. That's what I read when I put on the They Live glasses. This is a case of no good deed goes unpunished. Oh, it would be so nice. This is no doubt unsatisfying to anybody, but that's the hard truth. It's literally, they blacked out the names, and they're like, there are no names, and the names are victims. But then Epstein never trafficked anybody. Epstein never did anything wrong. Epstein just, raped a girl one time on accident. He just fell over and flopped, and then his ding-dong was inside her, his egg-shaped ding-dong. And she was 17. Oh, it is what it is. And all of the big people, whether that's Bannon, whether that's Trump, and anyone involved, Peter Thiel, just Epstein was interested in him at least. Other people like this, they all know each other, but it's not a big deal. I mean, come on, man. I want Michael Tracy so bad. If y'all see my Michael Tracy posts, and we'll get into him maybe, I might go an extra 30 minutes. I'll probably go till 10. We'll get into Michael Tracy a little bit, or at least I'll discuss it. He has been saying that everyone is too pussy basically to debate him. And he's been filleting himself all over Twitter, saying that he can refute anyone and everyone. Me and you, World War debate, April 11th, I believe is the date. Let's set it up. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Ultimately, Mr. Michael Tracy, you have to debate me at World War Debate, because according to the terms that you set up, the things that I'm Mr. Michael Tracy, and I set things up, and I call Dave Smith the pussy and the coward. He won't debate me. According to the rules that you set up, you got to debate anybody anytime, or else they're a duck or they're running. Okay? April 11th, World War Debate. I challenge you. I call you out right now today, as I sit here in Austin, Texas, in my dining room right now. And you say, I'm Mr. Michael Tracy. I'm a professor. I'm a very important guy. I got no hair left, and I won't shave it because I'm a coward. You say all those things, and then you also say, you're a small fry. Why should I waste time on you? You don't want to tear down Alex Jones's son? Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be a feather in your cap? I'm an excellent scout. So if you want to come try to hunt me down, try to take it, let's have the debate that you say everyone else is too scared to have. Because I freely, wholeheartedly, and happily accept. And you know what? I'd really like to do World War Debate. If that doesn't work out, that's something you can't do, we can do it online as well. I'm open to whatever format, but I would prefer if you weren't a coward and you came in person to World War Debate, maybe we even reimburse you for that. All right? Because I know maybe speculating, maybe you've received some dough from some people to have the opinions that you have. That's not me saying anything. It's just an opinion. But you want to make some more cash, maybe we do World War Debate. And maybe that would be fun. And I will debate you in good faith. I will have my notepad and my sources and my documents in a folder. And we will go back and forth. And we'll have an educated discussion. One I hope could go on for 3+ hours. So I challenge you. I throw down the gauntlet. I consider you to be my opponent, in the field of debate on this topic, and you're calling everyone else a coward. I'm ready. I'm ready to do it. Let's run them ones, boy. Let's get it done. Excellent plug. Someone clip that. I'll clip it myself. We're going to make that happen. Let's not, and we're not going to disparage him. No ad hominem. I promise that to you, Michael Tracy. I won't come after you. We'll have a debate on the topics. I'll attack your positions, but I won't attack you. But yeah, there's no reason to be scared. I'm just a young punk with some name value. You can get some, you can wring some water out of that, wet shirt, so to speak, and, moisturize yourself with it, inflate yourself even more online about how great you are. But let's run them ones. Let's get it done, dude.
Summed up. That's how it goes.
I mean, okay, I started to lurch back into that. I had cherry on top. Let's watch that again.
That's it. Summed up. That's how it goes.
The raped, the defeated, the cucked, I believe, is the nomenclature for it. I mean, I know it's tough to sell the BS, Dan. Just come out and say whatever they got on you. I mean, the first person that does that, the first person that breaks the blackmail cycle in this country is going to be a hero. So it's time for you to come out and tell the truth. Okay? We don't care what it is. All right? We know you at least were on the island barbecuing babies. It's good enough for us. You're a human being. All right? What is this? We're going to do it in slow-mo. Do I have that option? I think I do. We're all going to pay attention to his facial expressions. We're going to read the body language here.
That's it. Summed up. That's how it goes.
The sad pug, frown, sad face emoji, and then the look down of shame, the classic look down of shame. The only thing this is missing is a full sip where the person takes a drink of water when they don't need one, when they haven't been talking too much. We're going to watch that even slower because that wasn't slow enough to capture it all.
Summed up. That's how it goes.
Wow.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes.
I feel really bad for him. He's obviously in a lot of pain. And I'm sorry for ripping. I'm too cruel. I'm not nice enough. God's going to judge me for that. And I'm sorry I'm so wicked. I really am. I shouldn't make fun of people that are in plights like this because he needs our help, and he needs to be in a permissive environment for him to finally come out and tell the truth about what's been going on. He ain't happy about having to do this stuff, guys. And, I'm filth too because I'm making fun of this man. And he's obviously, I hope not, but on the verge of, hurting himself over this. It appears to me, in my subjective opinion, at least. This is not good. We're going to watch it one more time for impact, and then we're going to be done with this segment.
That's how it goes. Mike nailed it early.
Wow. America the raped. Look at what's happened to our country. This is like a populist hero. A lot of people like Dan Bongino. There's a reason why he got the position that he got. This ain't no B-lister. This is A-list MAGA. And look at what's become of him. He's the canary in the coal mine for the movement. And just as like, King Theoden in the Lord of the Rings movies. You know, it's kind of reverse that, where you start off and you see the person, you know, strong and powerful with aura radiating off them. And at the end, they're the weak, decrepit king being manipulated by Grima Wormtongue, of course, in the analogy. There's a lot there. Sorry to go over that so much. Now, in the same league as Patel, we got True Piglet, True Grifter, True Scum, Glenn Beck, Mr. Mormon Mansion, Mr. Blaze TV, Mr. Chud Max, Mr. Potato Head, our ancient enemy. My dad and Glenn Beck had a ancient beef, and now they've made up, and I think that speaks to the show. That's why I do an independent show now. There are people I'll never make peace with in the media space when it comes to, of course, make peace with people, like people. I don't want anything bad to happen to Glenn Beck. But like, this is an establishment propagandist. This was the proto Ben Shapiro that people forget about. And they used him for boomer audience capture. And I'll show you his net worth here in a second. This guy's very rich. He's made a lot of money off of propagandizing the old people. And just like I showed, Lindsey Graham's home state has like, it's like 10th in the nation, like super high in boomer population. That's how they keep the system running. That's how they keep the old people corralled and controlled. Let's go to Glenn Beck telling us about the theocracy we got to serve in the Middle East.
I at times have felt impressions from God. And about 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was overwhelming. I know why I was born. This is why you are here. This is why you were born.
Satan, the devil, a demon, whatever, that's the demon talking. Because, you know, the thing is, I'm very far from God, but that also, you know, they say when sin abounds, grace aboundeth and stuff like that. Thinking that you are close to the Lord and you know everything the Lord wants for you and you're going to do it because it's what God wants you to do. I know plenty of people like that, and they pushed me away from Christianity as a teenager. It's dispensationalist, satanic, name it and claim it garbage, because this is his own ego. This is his own pride. These are his own thoughts, his own human flawed thoughts, influenced by the demons, probably, as most people's are. And he attributes it to God. Wow. We'll replay that a little bit. I know why I was born.
5 weeks ago, I
get impressions from God. You know, I don't even like that when my dad says it. I've always disliked it when my dad said that. You know, my dad does have some weird psychic abilities for sure, but like it's bad juju to like make claims about the Lord.
It was overwhelming. I know why I was born. This is why you are here. This is why you were born. And it is to stand at these times and to stand for the truth and to stand, not to sound grandiose, but to stand as...
How am I going to cook? All right, I got to figure it out, because I can't look too much like a bitch, because then my audience will never respect me again. But they like me. They're affable. They're stupid. I love taking money from them. I love stealing. I love getting my $100 million off of, doing pro-war propaganda. I love it. Sorry. Excuse me. That's a little rude. That's a little mean. But that's my subjective opinion about what's going on in his head right here. He's figuring out how to signal, divine mandate for heaven support for Israel.
Other people in history have stood, especially for the Jewish people. And it is humbling.
He worships them, you see. That's his kink.
A little bit terrifying, but a relief to finally know.
Wow. Yeah, he's hearing from a different God. Now, you want to say, oh, you're coming after Glenn Beck. It's not nice to come after Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck's just, he's a guy and he's around and people want to watch him. It is what it is. He ain't hurt nobody. Bullshit. So they want to come after my dad and say he can never own anything again, basically, besides one house and one car. And we're scum because we sold supplements to people to fund our operation. My dad's never pushed pro-war propaganda. He never has in the history of the show. And right now, he's railing against a war with Iran, right? And that's going to be, we have issues and disagreements. If my dad became pro-war, me and him couldn't, we couldn't, I couldn't go on the program anymore. But Glenn Beck loves it. And Glenn Beck is willing to signal for that country in the Middle East. He's willing to glaze and do tricks on and do whatever. Why is that? Because he's got something to lose. Glenn Beck's net worth is estimated to be around $100 million. 100 million to 200 million, largely driven by his media empire, Mercury Radio Arts, which includes The Blaze, radio syndication, and book publishing. As of 2012, Forbes reported his annual earnings at $80 million. Multimedia empire, multiple income sources, transition to independent media from Fox News. Wow. Wow. All right, now I got more congressional footage. Lutnick testifying about his time on the island. Now, keep in mind, Lutnick's like, I went to his house with my wife, and he lived, of course, right next to me. That's not weird at all. It's not important to the story. But I went inside his house, and he had a massage table. And I said, how often do you get a massage? And he said, every day. And I said, what kind of massage is that you get every day? And he says, the right kind of massage. So then I look at my wife, and my wife looks at me. And he said, we have to leave. And we walk out of there and we go, we're never going to be around that man again. Apparently, reportedly, according to the files, he takes his children to the island with Jeffrey Epstein in 2015. And the reference says like very good friends and best friends and all of it in multiple documents. And they're lying to us, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, it doesn't matter what they're lying to us about. They're lying to us, period. And we do not accept it. Watch this now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to start by sharing the concerns and statement made by the chairman. I think you've heard it from other members of this committee as well. Yeah, the benefit of the bargain was struck at the time we passed the infrastructure bill. I've heard you refer on a number of occasions to new ideas. Having worked with the states, including my state of Maryland, for a long time on this, Mr. Secretary, I think the important thing is to make sure that they get the benefit of the bargain. And I think you're hearing on a bipartisan basis, this committee is going to scrutinize that very closely. There are just a couple of questions I have before we close. One is just to follow up on one of your responses with respect to the Epstein files, specifically the visit you and your family took to Epstein's private island in 2012. And I think you also said you went on his yacht. Is that right? Or boat? No. Okay.
I didn't say that.
At that time, I think you mentioned that you were accompanied by your wife and kids and nannies. My question is, do you know whether the nanny that you had on that trip was the same nanny that Jeffrey Epstein expressed interest in meeting?
No, I have no idea about that whole thing. I mean, I don't recall it having anything to do with me, and I don't know that.
It's just, this guy was a convicted sex offender, and obviously not a great place for kids and nannies. Was Ghislaine Maxwell on the island at that time?
No.
So turning now to the issues of the high-speed internet and broadband, let me just say I appreciated your very emphatic response to Senator Shaheen about Starlink, SpaceX, or any other entity not being able to change the terms of the deal after the fact. I thought that was a really clear and defined statement. So I do want to ask you about another rider. You described that as a rider that seems to have, been referenced, at least in the president's executive order.
Okay, I completely blanked out. I was sending messages to the graphic designer. We just got a new supplement contract, which I'm very excited about making. Me and my manufacturer. We're doing something pretty cool pretty soon, making some purple drink. It's going to be really dope. Y'all are going to love it. Better than Turbo Force, pre-workout energy matrix. Very exciting. But I got distracted by that, and I heard him ask questions about the island. It's a long ass clip. Kind of like whatever. Yeah, the senator's trash. Whatever. Yeah. Sorry for the dud. I'll probably cover Tracy once today's date. I'll talk about that on the show with Tim tomorrow. We'll do a little segment on that. I got more here. Representative Lou says the Epstein files show Trump raping the children. And you can go, that's BS. It's a total lie. Whatever you want to say, okay? At the end of the day, the Republicans and the Trumpians and the MAGA people, they have left themselves defenseless because what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Oh, it's not real. It's like unredacted then if it's not real. It's very, very simple. If it doesn't matter, like you say, if it's all just say, satanic panic, which is the new language they're trying to use. If it's all like that, then just release it all, right? So we'll just address that. I'm just going to rapid fire. And then we got this. I'll react to these tomorrow. Basically, he got asked here in this clip if he's gotten paid, and of course he couldn't answer the question. He doesn't want to incriminate himself. Probably it's my speculation. Not making a claim about anybody. Everything's speculation. I'm stupid. I don't know. I'm having fun. I'm a young guy. Don't sue me. You a bitch if you sue me on Hood. Representative Anna Paula Luna. This email was sent by a woman named Nadia. The same Nadia that was listed as co-conspirator in the York case. She was then given a plea deal and victim status. There's a big difference between minors that were victimized versus ones that became adults and chose to do horrible things. The DOJ needs to reopen these cases. And then this is the infamous Jesus, and I hate to even say the Lord's name in reference to this email. We have to talk about what these people did. Another case here, same thing. More Michael Tracy. I'm going to do this tomorrow on tomorrow's stream and do the full call out. More slop. The white man is the enemy of America. We'll go ahead and watch it. Whatever. Like at this point, it's like, okay, white people evil, Hillary, okay, whatever. Nobody cares anymore.
We haven't gotten to the more perfect union, and we fought a civil war over part of it.
Crypt Keeper. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah.
And
imagine it without makeup. Look like the alien, the second mouth. Yeah.
Have been protesting, for hundreds of years that, things were not as they should be given our ideals and how we should be moving toward them. So I think that's what makes us so special as a country. And the idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion, a certain religion, a certain point of view, a certain ideology, it's just doing.
Okay. Who cares, man? Like I watched this, and the giant war in Iran is about to kick off, and they're covering up for the Epstein files, and Dan Bongino is like about to die for having his soul being siphoned away from him. And like, who, like, oh, you're on MSNBC. Hillary, look what I can do to you now. Boop, gone. And of course, we got the article I was referencing. Got Lindsey Graham, Lady G, Boomer question. We got the Patel book. I think that's going to be it for tonight. I'm going to stay here till the 2-hour mark. I need to work out and stuff, getting back in shape, getting strong again, dude. Bench press tonight. Have a good time. I saw clavicular, right? I saw clavicular bench press. I haven't worked out in like over 400 days, right? The first time I worked out was like 2 days ago for the first time ever. All right. I did 155 for 17, and I could have done more if I had a spotter. It's very, very, very light. I haven't touched a barbell, especially not in that position, in well over a year. Okay. 135 for 3 is like really scary, because if you look like you're somewhat jacked and you have the glycogen storage from the gear and you're doing the thing, you're doing whatever, and you can only bench 135 for 3, there might be some medical problems going on. I know he's got long arms. I know he's like rail thin and skinny, but my little sister can do 135 for a single. So, and not with the arch and the crazy stuff or whatever, like legitimately. So I'm looking at that, and every time I see a clip of it, I'm like, whoa. It's like Tate can I think Tate can do 315. Tate can mess around and do 315 because he's legitimately strong. But I mean, if this is aura, let me tell you, give me about 8 to 10 weeks. By the time I go to World War Debate, I want to be stacked. I want to be a unit. And why is that? Because I was already a unit, right? And I kind of still am. I went in there and I did 225 for 20 for 3 sets squatting. Okay. I haven't squatted in, like I said, well over like hundreds of days since I've done a workout, and now I can barely move or whatever, but I'll be right at 4 plate, and like, give me a couple to a few months. I'll be right back there. What is going on with this, like, looks maxing, mogging community? Like they're all outrageously weak. They're all, meth maxing and stimulant maxing while they're on anabolic drugs, killing their hearts. And, it's kind of like a dark version of the Ziz stuff that I remember from being a kid, like Ziz and the aesthetics and Connor Murphy. I mean, look at Connor Murphy now. Connor Murphy has had like megalodon jaw surgery. He looks like the guy with the giant head in One Piece now. And apparently that's what's in style. They all shave themselves. It's very feminine. It's the Zoomer hair and all of it. And I can't give you that. I'm bald. Look, I'm 35. My cortisol has been spiked since like 2013. But hey, you know what? If we were on a ship 200 years ago and we were going to, South America, or we were going to Asia and we were going to the Philippines, or, going to fight the Aztecs or something, I'd be a good guy to be on the ship with. I'd be your buddy. And I don't know about these folks out here. And I just like the fake tough guy stuff. I'm not going to play it because it's sensational. That Dean the Great guy, I have a comment that got like 1,000 likes. This guy, he's like a Misfits, and meaning Misfits, it's like a smaller boxing promotion. It's for social media influencers and stuff, but they're legit, and like they're fighters, and they go in there and they work hard, and he's won some fights, and he's trained, right? And that's all to more my example I'll give in a second. He goes, and whether it's, I thought it was staged and scripted and all that, but apparently not, due to his reaction. He's mad, and he threatened the other guy with death, and it happened again as well. He like goes to touch this guy's wife, and this guy, Larry Wheel, is like 300 pounds. Jack can like deadlift 900 plus. It literally has like a superhuman level of strength. He's like building level. This guy like slaps him, right? Because you can't do that. And then later, these are live streamers, right? And this is the whole IRL streaming community. It's like people going around to parties, like 50-year-old men, and then like 5'5" midgets going around to parties. Yeah, bro, oh man, like, straight up, G, like we can run it, we can run. It's like no one thinks you're tough if you talk like that. It's, man, like, it's what I do. It's a message, man. It's about sending a message. It's like, if you're gonna bark, you better bite. Like, let's fucking roll, dude. And that's what happened to this guy the second time. This like 50-year-old retired MMA fighter who's like 5'10", but he looks like a towering giant over this man. He's like, hey, like, how are you doing? And like, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'd smack shit out of you though. I smack shit out of you. We can run it. Be real. And like starts threatening him, and is like getting close, and is like pursing his lips. And you know what someone's like when they're trying to pick a fight with you. Like, these are human interactions. We're not bullshitting. At this point, I'll play the video. We'll close out with it. Whatever. It's fun, and you can see how accurate my description of it is when I play it. The guy, when he hears, I'm going to slap the shit out of you, or I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, whatever the quote is. It's a non-conditional statement. It's going to happen. It's in progress from the way he describes it. He elbows him in the face, which is probably what I would do too. That probably might be my default move, be to elbow the guy in the face. He's in range to do that because he's walking off to the side of you, and it's like perfectly timed for a sucker punch. He's going to come in. You got reasonable suspicion that's going to happen. You got to defend yourself. And I get in the comments, I say that, and I got a guy beefing with me in there. It's great. I have to do it. I got to do it because it's just so fun. It's just so fun. It is so fun. I can just go into my notifications and find it. Okay, I found it. All right, let's watch this, guys. And apparently this guy's a POS or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is the subjective situation we're talking about here, and people's misunderstanding of what you're allowed to do and what you're like, how you're able to assault other people is really messed up.
Oh, do that. All right. Nice to meet you, bro. You do know who I am. I don't know why you lying. No, I don't. You definitely know who the fuck I am. So don't act like you don't know.
You definitely know who the F I am. Don't act like you don't know me. Stop lying to me. Like, this is already very aggressive.
I don't know you. You definitely know me. Nice to meet you, though.
I don't know you. It's nice to meet you, though. That's probably what I'd say, too.
Yeah, I don't be lying because girls around and shit. You definitely.
Don't be lying because girls around and shit. I mean, you have like TBI in middle school and like a concussion that never gets properly treated. So when you're an adult, your pupils are always different sizes. Is that the level of CTE we're dealing with here? And don't be I like because it goes around. You know me and type shit. I'm like 5'2".
Definitely know me, bro. Not even on some disrespectful shit, but
I don't know you. But I don't like your attitude. And I don't like your fucking tone.
I don't like you at all, though. Yeah. Straight up. Yeah.
Are you the guy that got slapped on video?
I did, but I'll slap the shit out you, though.
I'll slap the shit out you, though. So all is short for I will. Okay. And the guy that argued with me in the comments, he didn't understand that. He didn't get that. And he's defending. He's like, hey, saying I will text you doesn't actually mean I will text you. That's the example he gave. I mean, these people are like illiterate. But you don't get to do this to people. And anyone's like, it's just words. Unbroken eye contact. You're going to watch him purse his lips here, walk around to the side and kind of smirk you for a second. You're going to get popped. You're going to get popped.
I'm going to show you the inside of.
It's always a girl that like tries to get in the middle of like a actual brawl that's going to ensue. And then like, God forbid, like the worst, like we love women on this show. Like we don't like, it's not a woman's responsibility to get hurt because two guys are crashing out and doing something stupid, but it's also an impulse in women to like get involved and try to break up the fight. It's, if I have a female viewer tonight, like it's really dumb. You shouldn't do it. You should stay far away from these people.
I'll make you another clip.
I'll make you another clip saying I'll make you another highlight. And keep in mind, this isn't, some innocent youth or something or whatever. And when I say innocent, I mean, like, I'm not saying he's a criminal, but this is someone who's a trained combat sports professional. He has the ability to cause, he doesn't have the right, and he has the skills to do this. He doesn't have the right to knock out this guy's tooth. He doesn't have the right to put out this guy's eye. All things, I don't care if he's 120 pounds or whatever he is. He could easily maim this man. All right. And this man right now actively, and he knows it, he's looking at the threat right now. He understands it's a threat. This guy's made a non-conditional statement. I will slap the shit out of you. And then follows it up with, yeah, I'm going to make you a clip. I'm going to make you a highlight reel.
Don't do that.
Seriously?
Don't do that.
Walking around to the side. Don't do that. Threatening. Moving in. Getting closer. People saying, oh, he's walking away. He's walking away. If I see that, if I see someone looking at me like that, the side eye like that, after they've said, I'm going to slap shit out of you and I'll make a clip out of you, it's on site. It's immediately that millisecond I'm doing something. It's not about hurting you. I have no desire to hurt you. I'm a peaceful, friendly guy. I hate violence. But if you are going to try to assault me and intimidate me, and if I have to run a risk of getting hurt if I don't respond, I'm throwing first and I'm asking questions later. Okay? And that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah. Exactly. And the thing is like, and I'm not a big tough guy or anything. My dad is a legitimate, like, he used to love to fight people. I don't like fighting people, but I've had to do it a few times. Okay. And it's especially go out to bars or 6th Street or something like that. And you got people trying to push on you and do crazy stuff. People don't understand how you're supposed to act. And it's maybe just like you learn in pre-K the concept of the bubble, right? Now, I respect the bubble. I respect everybody's bubble. I don't get in your face. I'm not going to encroach upon you. I'm not going to get in your personal space like this. I'm not going to threaten you. These people never got that message. And like, this is tough to watch, but at the same time, he brought it on himself, man. That's aggression. And like you say, oh, he's just walking away. It is what it is. He's walking to the side. He's going to crack him in the side of the head.
Don't do that.
And again, I don't know that he's going to do it, but there's a reasonable assumption that he might. And you don't get to talk like that, little bro. Especially not to someone that's a lot bigger and stronger than you. It's a bad call.
Don't do that.
Seriously?
Don't do that.
Whoa.
Hi. Come on, cuz. Come on. No.
Come on, cuz.
Come on. Don't do that.
Okay. Just wanted to play that. And then I said, you don't get to threaten people, dude. It shows how soft your upbringing is, that you believe you can get away with issuing threats of violence and getting close. This is not boxing. And this guy goes, LMAO, this is you in 4K, bruh. You can't meet speech with violence, childlike mindset. Very embarrassing. This is someone doing journalism and someone attacks them. Okay. And then I say, you're not smart enough to understand the difference between legal speech and threats of violence, also known as assault, which is a crime. Thinking you got me is embarrassing. We are at where we are as a society because of beliefs like this and ignorance of the law. See, I'm very diplomatic. I really am. I could be a lot meaner. Just like I thought a complete hypocrite, not smart enough to understand what that word means, but he's going to say it. You learned how to spell it. We're at this point because people like you can't be accountable. Accountable? Oh, so someone says something, you get to do violence? Saying, I would slap you. That's not what he said. Notice. And he's making excuses. I get it. He's making excuses. But saying, I would slap you, that's not what he said. He said, I will slap you. And after that, I said, I would make you into a clip. And then he side-eye, clicks his teeth in, and walks around the other side, about to sucker punch the guy. Or at least the guy has a reasonable assumption that's going to happen. You're allowed to defend yourself. This is America. This ain't Europe. This ain't Asia. This ain't Africa. This is the United States of America. And I believe it's unconstitutional states that have a retreat jurisdiction. This is not a retreat jurisdiction. Okay? And that doesn't just apply to guns. That applies when anyone's trying to press on you or make you do something or hurt you physically or even touch you physically. You know what? Fuck you. I don't give consent for you to touch me. Okay? I don't give consent for you to threaten me and to get in my face and get real close to me. I'm shooting first in that respect because I want to protect myself, protect my family. And that's the American ethos. That's the American message. And then I say, you're changing the language. That's not what he said, man. I say, moving the goalpost all the way. I'm going to slap the shit out of you. I'm a slap the shit out of you. I will slap the shit out of you is the quote. Going to, as in it's in progress and going to happen. You can play dumb or nice online and say that's not what he meant. It's a human interaction, and the little guy is being menacing with his body language as well as his speech. You have a reasonable assumption of being sucker punched after someone says that to you. So there we go. Boom. Well, great show tonight. We enjoyed the show tonight. We had a good time. Sorry about the chat. There are a lot of great people in the chat. Shout out to Evan. I'll read them out. Shout out to AD. Yeah, beautiful hit. Shout out to the skipper. Shout out to Agent Phil. Shout out to Evan Thompson. Shout out to Damon, of course. Shout out to Big Mike. Big Mike. We love Big Mike. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Zach. Shout out to Agent Phil, like I said already. Shout out to Cole Dodson. Shout out to New Groiper. Shout out to C. Lars. Shout out to Rudy, of course. Shout out to Matt. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you all other people that didn't comment. People who are just watching here to view the show. Of course, there's more of you in the comments that I don't see. Thank you so much for being here with me tonight. We're going to do a phenomenal show. Me and Tim tomorrow are going to have fun. And then on Friday, you're going to catch me and Tim on the War Room, 4 to 6 p.m. We're going to actually have Simon Dixon on, of course, Bitcoin phenom, tech phenom, global leader. Really smart guy. If you haven't seen our episode with him, I would go check it out. It's incredible. You can find it on the Gray Area Talks YouTube channel, as well as on Twitter. If you look for it hard enough, you search for it correctly. Thank you all for being here with me tonight. Sorry about a little bit of low energy show. We will address the Michael Tracy stuff tomorrow. I've called him out. I did a little thing on here that I'll clip. Other people want to clip that and post that, please do. I highly encourage you to do so. We're going to make that happen. He needs to debate me. He set the standard high. We're going to make him abide by it. So thank you all for being here tonight. Incredible show. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And if there's one final thing I can ask you to do for me, it would be if you're going to go to the YouTube, this is on RexX Gray Area, and I get like one viewer on there now because we just started the thing, right? And I'm going to reform the solo channel stuff. I'm going to figure out a better way to do it. But if you want to go to the main Gray Area Talks and you just want to pick a random video and comment on it and give it a like, that's a big deal for us. So if you could do that, be a hero. Also, if you want to go to, I'll just go ahead and do a plug now. I haven't done a plug in forever, and they're phenomenal products. If I can get one sale tonight, I will be ecstatic. Let me tell you about Primal Core right now. Let me tell you about these phenomenal products. I'll tell you right now, if you want ashwagandha, this is the place to get it. But not just that. Let me sell you on the male multi-mineral. This is a multi-mineral formula that I came up with when I designed and developed multiple InfoWars Live products and now Alex Jones Store products. It's been carried over from both lines. But both those blends have always been economical, right? It's always been me trying to fit something else into a pill. It's already got herbal ingredients in there. It's already meant to do something else. I wanted to create the ultimate male mineral, not just male mineral for women too, nootropic benefits, all of it. It's all right here. Elemental drive, core mineral support, free testosterone booster, reduces fatigue, metabolic support, muscle recovery, dopamine balance, and cognitive ability. It's got zinc, copper. You got to have zinc and copper together to balance each other out. A lot of people don't know that. Vitamin D3, 5,000 IU, magnesium, 200 milligram, crucial for over 300 enzymatic processes in the body. Boron raises your free testosterone up to 36%, according to the studies. And selenium, of course, zinc and boron both increase luteinizing hormone, which is a signal from your brain to your balls to make more tests, brother. So if you want higher testosterone, you want higher quality of life, you want more antioxidant function, you want more nootropic function, or metabolic support, you choose Elemental Drive right now, and you can sign up and save 15%. If you give us your email, we'd really appreciate that as well. Going to be a lot of new cool products coming down the pipe. And I've got new products to plug as well, but I'm going to do that on another channel. So gray area shows or for gray area products, please decide to subscribe and save today. Just if we get one subscriber, we've only had, a few dozen orders, I'll be honest with you guys. And these products are phenomenal, incredible, fantastic, and they're at a great price point. Subscribe and save right now. Make the decision to do that. If one person can do that tonight, you have no idea how happy that will make me. And I'm in here. I'm doing 2-hour show every day, damn near every day. I'm in here with Tim, 3-hour shows. We're doing shows on other platforms, doing other guest spots. We're doing it all. It's really hard to do it and to have to spend, hundreds or thousands of dollars on equipment or editing or time or help. It would really mean a lot if you genuinely enjoy the show. And if you're a man and instead of deciding to spend, $30 getting 2 cheeseburgers on DoorDash, if you want to spend that money on getting a product that'll get you through the month with all of those benefits I described, including the increased testosterone benefits and increased free testosterone, which is what you really want, I want you to go to goprimalcore.com right now, and I want you to get Elemental Drive. I want you to get Elemental Drive. It's really that easy to support your male body function, to support your energy and hormone levels, to support your power and vitality. And if you wanted to be a real gangster, you could get them together. Skip lunch twice this month. Well, here's the thing. Lunch is like $1 or $2 if you get it from the grocery store. If you use one of these food delivery services to buy some goy slop that will destroy your body, ultimately, I think it's a better decision to buy this. And they're both food items too. So when you're buying this, you're buying a meal basically. So make a decision, share a meal with me, buy me a meal. I'd really appreciate it. We'd really appreciate it on the show. These are really phenomenal products. Okay. You don't have to get the bundle. Bundle's really cool if you want to take ashwagandha, if you want to lower your cortisol. And it's interesting. This is how the two products work together, right? And this is why I sell these products. I've done this for 5 years. I sell these products because I'm passionate about them. I know that they work. Here's how the mechanism of action is detailed. Ashwagandha blunts cortisol response. All right. And the fuel source for cortisol is cholesterol, because cortisol, of course, is a stress hormone. It's a steroid. You have the corticosteroids, which are anti-inflammatory and break things up, or are inflammatory. And then you have the anabolic steroids that your body naturally makes, like testosterone and dihydrotestosterone. This takes the fuel source from cortisol and diverts it more towards testosterone, and then combined with the ultimate mineral blend, which just has everything you need for your function. I mean, so objectively, I can't make a medical claim. I would expect your test to go up, a few hundred nanograms. That's speculation. That's just based on studies that I've read. I'm not making a health claim or anything like that. Check it out. Why not? I take it. I feel pretty good. I'm getting pretty, I'm getting back in shape. I've lifted twice. I've lifted twice in 300 days, but I've lifted twice, the past 2 days in a row. We're getting it all together. Let's see. I'm small right now. I'm fat, but it's coming in, man. I'm like 220 right now. I got to get down to like 200, and then y'all are really going to see. Y'all going to see that turtle shell, baby. Hell yeah. But thank you for being here with me tonight. God bless. Good luck. Oh, dude. You bought the ashwagandha? Dude, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Shout out to you, Nimrod Pod. We're going to do the show. I'm sorry. I need to respond to your DM. I apologize. How goes the truck sale? I haven't listed it yet. I was getting it detailed today, and the guy didn't finish it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy driving around with it a little bit longer. I'll put it on the market tomorrow. I'm not in a rush. Hell yeah. Thank you, man. Means a lot that you say that. I mean, here's the thing. They're good products. You're never going to waste any money when you buy something from me. It's always going to be budget premium, the best value. I like to undercut the market in whatever I do. And I do that because I grew up watching these boomers, sell people $14 a unit formulas that are just complete bullshit based off branded ingredients. And ran a study off one time. It's all complete lie. I just put the best generics together at the absolute best price. And then it's not just you buying a t-shirt. I mean, think about it. And I'm not disparaging people that sell t-shirts to make a living. My dad started off selling t-shirts and videos, and there's no ability to it. Whatever. You're selling physical goods. Ultimately, and you could say someone values from a shirt, you can wear the shirt, other people like what the message on the shirt, whatever. I'm giving you real physical value with the product. I take these, I feel better. That's my subjective experience, of course, but it lines up with what the studies say. If you want a high quality food product that's going to deliver the benefits that you want, you buy a Primal Core product. Very simple. Elemental Drive. It's the best thing we've ever put together because I've put various versions of this formula together on the market before. I just never had all 5 together in one product. And I think it's a pretty damn good deal as well. Thank you all. I'll say 30 more seconds. Anyone got a last question? Oh, thumbs up. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. And this is the last thing I'll say. Other people do the show so they can sell the product. I sell the product. We sell the product so we can do the show. That's the crucial distinction you have to understand when you're dealing with a Rex Jones affiliated product. Thank you for your support. I appreciate your support. All right, I will log off. I love you all. Good night.
Modern life has left us out of balance. Long ago it was once said, certain remedies could grant a man the vitality of a horse. For over 6,000 years, these natural remedies have been harvested and tested by generations. Why create complex formulas when nature's roots are still in our hands? Try Primal Core. Ancient remedies for modern life.